Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Friday, January 10th, 2025. This is going to be the fourth live stream on the Los Angeles fires. We're also going to talk about Trump officially becoming the first felon president after Juan Merchan upholding the felon label today in court. Again, all of this stuff is perfect ritual, and it's all part of the perfect takedown and destruction of this nation, and it is all being executed by the Jesuit cabal. We have somebody live streaming right now making fun of me and what I'm saying about the Jesuits. And again, these people are part of the problem. We might even engage with that live stream in this live stream. That determines, or that remains to be seen, because we know that this person who's doing this is an absolute waste of time and some kind of seeming plant on the platform. But anyhow, let's talk about Joe Rogan, his prophetic prediction of July 19th, 2024, which was the 201st day of the leap year, which was also the day the movie Twisters came out. And remember, this past year, we saw tornadoes in places we've never seen them before all over this nation. Been covering that in the last year. The media is mocking people who are questioning if directed energy weapons could have been used in Los Angeles, just like how this was brought up in the time of the Maui fires, which wiped out Lahaina, the old capital. And we're going to see that this doesn't deserve to be mocked, but deserves to be examined, because it looks like that's exactly what happened in both locations. Of course, we've been talking about the Maui and Los Angeles connection since Tuesday, when the story broke about the winds that were going to set LA on fire before LA even caught on fire. And again, we're going to come back to the new fire chief, Kristen Crowley, or the newer chief. We're going to again revisit the Lana Del Rey song, Jesuit-educated Lana Del Rey, who seems to have sang the song the greatest with predictive programming for this. We're going to talk about the Los Angeles Chargers playoff game being moved to State Farm Stadium, the same State Farm that canceled 72,000 policies this year for fire insurance. Remember, you guys, State Farm, they do a lot of NFL ads. State Farm and Gematria equals 103, like the 103rd NFL season ended in State Farm Stadium, where Mahomes, who does the advertisements, came into that game 10-3 in the playoffs and beat the Eagles. The thing about 103 here is, as we talked about, Pacific Palisades is 103 years old, the most impacted area. So again, now you got the game moving to State Farm Stadium. They're not going to play it in LA. They're going to play it in Arizona. And again, this is kind of like how the Kings had to cancel their game versus the Flames, because all of this stuff is scheduled and planned. And then, of course, we'll get to Trump becoming the first felon president. And there's a lot to say about this, but just, right off the top, learn your gematria, a.k.a. your gematria, and everything becomes abundantly clear. Notice how felon and Trump both equal 25, and here we are for 2025. The word fire is also 25, and it's starting off with the big one in one of the biggest cities in the world. And keep in mind, for years, we've been pointing out the film Lockdown 2025, what that film had to do with the Great Tribulation, and how in the film, the City of Angels, Los Angeles, is on fire. We've been talking about this for years. A lot of things about 2025. They Live, which is set in Los Angeles, where the aliens that rule over humanity, who look like humans, they say they'll have complete control over the world by 2025. SPARS 2025. If you haven't seen Lockdown 2025, it begins with everything being shut down because of a viral outbreak, and the next thing you know, LA's on fire. But anyway, let's start right here with Joe Rogan's prophetic remarks. Again, as we pointed out many times, Joe Rogan is a Jesuit stooge, and he became popular first on news radio, and then more so with Fear Factor, and then becoming part of the UFC. But news radio, now he's the podcaster guy. On July 19th, 2024, he did a broadcast this year. You've probably seen the clips. They're even showing it on the news about him talking about how one day, somebody told him that one day there's going to be a windstorm that just sets LA on fire. And he just happened to do this podcast again on the day the Twisters movie came out. Twisters, wind, obviously. But again, it was the 201st day of the leap year. And here I've been educating about weather warfare and the Jesuits, and the first act of weather warfare being admitted to on the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th, 1952, since forever, but also this major 201 pattern with bizarre weather phenomenon. And again, if you're new here, Gematria or Gematria, look up the song Gematria, the Killing Name. The chorus is, "And we will burn your cities down." And there's a lot more you could say about the band who did that song and the members who've died, including the, in addition to the daughter who died of the singer, all by the same very Gematria-related pattern. But again, if you don't know the song Gematria, the Killing Name, just read the lyrics, read the chorus, and we will burn your cities down. But anyway, weather control on the Jesuit order. Perfect overlap in 3 out of the 4 base ciphers. The base ciphers, it's all elementary. It's the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z is 26. It's the reverse alphabetic order, meaning Z is 1 back to A is 26. And it's both orders with numerology applied. 201, you could say, is the pinnacle number of the Jesuits. Case in point, the first ever Jesuit Pope is the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. And this 201 has a meaning in the original Gematria or Gematria system, which is Hebrew. Again, it represents enlightenment. It represents knowledge. And to the occult, light is knowledge. The Jesuit founded the Order of Illuminati. Order of Illuminati equals 201. He died in history 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. Again, these people are using occult knowledge, waving it in front of the face of humanity who they know can't see it because they don't know anything about any of this. But anyhow, it was the 201st day of the year that Rogan, while wearing the Los Angeles Fire Department t-shirt, and remember who the new fire chief is, Kristen Crowley. Of course, Aleister Crowley was a practitioner of Gematria. But notice how her name has the 201 and 177 in it, like the Jesuit order. Also the 75, like weather control. Again, she was installed as the fire chief in a big 22 ritual. The word arson equals 22. These fires began on the 22nd day of the Pope's age. Again, the first Jesuit Pope, the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. And by the way, Pope Francis's birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, equals 201, just like the founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, equals 201. But anyhow, Joe Rogan, 201st day of the year. Notice how his birth name, Joseph James Rogan, equates to 256. The interesting thing about 256 is it's the 201st composite number. And something we've talked about with Joe Rogan before is that his birthday, August 11th, is the same day that HAARP, the patent date for HAARP, was created in history. Well, we'll come back to that. But yeah, this fire chief, Kristen Crowley, remember, they're comparing this windstorm that ignited these fires to the windstorm that happened in Pasadena on December 1st, 2011. That was the anniversary of Aleister Crowley's death. Aleister Crowley, the occultist, who was into this same study of letters and numbers and words from Kabbalah that is Gematria. We just talked about how Lana Del Rey's song that was released September 13th, 2019, on the 256th day of the year, seemed to foretell of this event. She's Jesuit educated, and the fire began on her 201st day of her age. But isn't it interesting how her name is also 256? Just like Joe Rogan. And again, just to bring this up, she went to Fordham like Donald Trump, who's also Jesuit educated, who sacrificed his ex-wife on the road to become winning the rig selection and buried her on the 201st day of the year. Just like how Biden sacrificed his son at age 46, 201 days before the Pope's birthday. And when he became senator-elect in 72, he sacrificed his wife and daughter in 201 rituals. Anyway, again, the fires began on the 201st day of Lana Del Rey's age. And again, the end of her song, The Greatest, it concludes with Hawaii just missed a fireball. LA is in flames. It's getting hot. And again, from California's date of establishment to the fire beginning, where they're calling it apocalyptic, it was the 121st day of the state's age. Her birth name also equals 121. Again, the overlap with apocalyptic and revelation. We're going to come back to this with Joe Rogan. Again, L is the 12th letter, A is the first. 12-1, the city of angels. Okay. So coming back to the Joe Rogan prophecy and how the Jesuit fingerprints are all over it, because he's a little Jesuit puppet like we've been talking about for a long time. Remember all the rituals they did with him in the time of the scandemic where his staff was getting the cooties by the numbers and yada, yada, yada. Anyhow, from his prophecy prediction to January 7th was 172 days later. Ad Merum Dei Gloriam is the Jesuit motto, for the greater glory of God, which equals 172. Read about what people have said about the Jesuits and this phrase for centuries. Again, the Jesuits have been warned about for hundreds of years. They've been accused of murder and setting fires numerous times. They tried to blow up British Parliament on Remember the 5th of November, trying to kill King James. And that's why they had Trump win the rigged election this year on November 5th. And in 2016, when he had his convention in Cleveland, like how Grover Cleveland was the only split-term president before Trump, that year they did all the King James rituals, including LeBron winning the Cavs, their only finals, on the real King James's birthday, days before Trump's convention began in the same stadium. And don't forget, Cavaliers are those who fought for King Charles, who was the son of King James. But again, all these little jokes, all these tributes to history, all numerical ritual. Of course, King James died at 58, like Trump announced from the 58-story Trump Tower he'd be running in the 58th election, which he won. And let's not forget they killed Prince of Purple Rain, which equals 58, 201 days before the election, after his girlfriend Vanity died the day of the 58th Grammys, which allowed us to predict Prince's death before it happened on 4/21. Like he said he would die on 4/21, the Queen's birthday, in his song I Would Die For You, with the number 4 and the letter U in the title, when used the 21st letter, thus I Would Die 4/21. But again, coming back to this, 172 days before the fire, Rogan's broadcast. The thing I was going to say about the Jesuits is if you read about what was written centuries ago, they say that the Jesuits would utter this phrase before they committed atrocities on humanity. Ad Merum Dei Gloriam, murder somebody. Ad Merum Dei Gloriam, set a fire. Again, this has been talked about for hundreds of years. And again, what's Ignatius of Loyola, what's one of his famous quotes, the founder of the Jesuits, Mr. 201 himself: go forth and set the world on fire. Now, I will warn you that if you look into that phrase, you'll see that Jesuits in recent years have been playing that down and saying it's a mistranslation. That's not what he meant. Okay, sure. You can believe that. I would say that's mitigating the damage and people figuring out what's going on in the world. August 11th to January 7th, the day of Rogan's birthday to the fire beginning. 149 days later. Skull and Bones has the gematria of 149. Again, this is the powerful order out of Yale that calls itself Order 322. Remember, we talked about Gavin Newsom proposing the $322 billion budget the day before the fires began, when military-industrial complex also equates to 322. And Skull and Bones gets their symbolism from two things primarily: the Bavarian Illuminati, which was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, and the Templars, the old military order of the Catholic Church, whereas the Jesuits are the new one. And again, that's why the Templar cross in the middle of the Jesuit order's logo. But there is a cipher also where capital letters matter. I just want to remind that Skull and Bones also equates to 201 in that cipher. Remember Paul Walker did the movie The Skulls about Skull and Bones just before George W. Bush became the latest Skull and Bones president at the time. And that movie came out 201 days after Paul Walker's birthday. And he gets a red Porsche in that film, and then he died in that weird way in a red Porsche 5 years to the day of Papa Bush dying on the same day, November 30th, 2018. Again, Papa Bush was also in Skull and Bones like his son. So again, 149 days from Rogan's birthday to the fire beginning. And you could also say that from his last birthday to his prophecy episode of the LA fires on July 19th, it was 49 weeks after his birthday. Remember the 343 days and the 11 months and 8 days. We're going to come back to that, but for now, just the 49 weeks. Remember, Revelation equals 121 like apocalyptic. Fires began on the 121st day of California's age. The windstorm compared to the December 1st windstorm in 2011. Keep in mind, 121 has a square root of 11, the master number in a lot of these numerologists. Again, that was Crowley's death date, like how the fire chief now is Crowley. But then also 49 weeks, Revelation and Apocalyptic are 49. Keep in mind, Los Angeles birthday is the 4th day of September, which can be written 49. You can see that apocalyptic and revelation is where the one thing doesn't hit, but it was 149 days after Rogan's birthday. And you can see that his full name, Joseph James Rogan, also equals 176, like apocalyptic. And then you can also see the 59 connection. And remember, we talked about how Lana Del Rey's song came out 277 weeks before the fire, which is the 59th prime. And the whole thing's also synced with the Pope, and Pope Francis equals 59. And that's why in the 59th presidential election, you got number 46, 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, went Catholic equals 46. And Joe Biden's son was sacrificed at 46. And JFK was killed once upon a time at age 46. Like there's 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. But okay, revelation and apocalyptic in light of Rogan in this ritual, in light of things being planned out, in light of Joe Rogan just being a plant and just, covering up for the things he's supposed to cover up for, leak the things he's supposed to leak, participate in the divisive agendas he's supposed to participate in. Again, total goon. Total goon is Joe Rogan. And a lot of people tune into him like he's some kind of beacon of truth. He's always playing down the significance of the most important events. I mean, what's Joe Rogan have to say about 9/11, where 2 towers became 0 before they became 1? Again, he's always playing that conspiracy down. And other things. Do you know how many 56s there were with Joe Rogan in the time of the scandemic where the whole thing was 56? Anyhow, as we talked about, this ritual with the fire in LA began 56 days after the Superior General's birthday. What t-shirt was Joe Rogan wearing when he made the prediction about the fires? He was wearing the Los Angeles Fire Department t-shirt, which equals 263, the 56 prime. Just to show you how these people work, 9/11, again, where 2 towers became 0 before they became 1. The flights that supposedly hit targets, it was first 11 in the 11th state, slamming into the tower that looked like an 11 on the 11th of the month, 11 years to the day of Papa Bush's speech about a new world order, a world free or a terror, as they hit the World Trade Centers. Again, the Jesuits pride themselves on being the driving force of globalization. Again, New York City's got the 11 letters. There's so many 11s with 9/11. But it was flight 11, and then it was flight 175, and then the flight that supposedly hit the Pentagon on the 77th meridian into the 77-foot tall structure 322 days after the simulation of a plane flying into the Pentagon. Again, that was flight 77, crashing 77 minutes after it took off. Not to mention, if you spell out September 11th as words, it equals 77. But again, you had flights 11, 175, and 77 hit targets. And that adds up to 263, the 56 prime. For people who don't know, I had another channel until last year, or a little more than a year ago now. It was deleted. It was a channel covering our road trip from Seattle to New York, uniting people in every major city along the way from Seattle to New York to talk about these things. It was a great experience. But it ended with, we were in New York for September 11th. They deleted the entire channel, even though it didn't have any strikes on it. They just deleted the entire channel exactly 263 days after 9/11, after us being on the streets of New York educating about these exact things. And it was impressive what we did. We got a lot of people to stop and listen in the streets of New York explaining these things, but they deleted the whole channel 263 days after 9/11. Again, it's not a joke the way these people operate in their patterns. Not to mention that whole channel also got demonetized the moment I posted that I had just arrived in New York. Within 2 minutes, I got a notification from YouTube that the channel was demonetized. I said, oh, look how perfect. I drive from Seattle to New York as soon as we get here for the big event. Demonetized. Perfect. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan's getting paid, hundreds of millions of dollars to do stuff like this? It's the way this world works, and people can't figure it out. Tuning into the evil villains who are paid for by the cabal, and then tuning out the people who've been right about everything for over 11 years straight, like yours truly. Anyway, again, the Jesuits, the Society of Jesus, big number for their rituals all throughout history. Society of Jesus, climate change. By the way, guys, just Agenda 21, when they went down to here. Agenda 21, they signed off on the document. If you don't know what Agenda 21 is, look it up. It's now been updated to Agenda 2030, but this was the climate change accords that so much of the world came together and signed, and they signed off on it on June 13th, 92, the day leaving 201 days left in the year in Rio de Janeiro. Okay, and after the during the pandemic, after the Event 201 simulation put on by Klaus Schwab, there were articles written about how the silver lining of the pandemic was they were able to get a lot of the Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 goals in line because commerce was shut down, consumption was minimized, people weren't driving all over the place, there was less flights. So they said that was the silver lining of the pandemic simulated with Event 201 was, again, that just some of these climate goals agreed to at the start of the early 90s on the day leaving 201 days left in the year, they got in line. So, and remember, they used to call it global warming. You can see why they started calling it climate change. It just fits in with their code. Of course, natural disasters also 56. Lana Del Rey's 56. We talked about how this whole thing synced up with Gavin Newsom. So, again, Gavin Newsom, the Jesuit-educated governor who said he's locking down California back in 2020 because 56% of the state will get the virus in 8 weeks. And again, the name of the virus is the same thing. It's 56. And it's 155, 56, 142, just like Gavin Newsom is. Just like how Trump, the Jesuit, he declared the state of emergency on Friday the 13th, 2020, a date with 56 numerology, 56 years after his Jesuit education began. But he also did an Operation Warp Speed on the 15th of May, which is Mercuralia, which was 2 years to the day of Clade X, the first pandemic simulation. That was the sister simulation to Event 201, which was 666 days before the pandemic was declared on March 11, 2020. And don't forget, 666 goes with the beast, Satan, just like how Event 201 was on October 18th, 1018, like how Satan comes to earth and Luke 10:18. Might recall the rapper Lil Nas X had DMX die on his birthday, Dark Man X. And around that same time, Lil Nas X put out the 666 pairs of Satan shoes with Luke 10:18 etched on them. But yeah, again, Joe Rogan's remarks were on the day of the Twisters movie coming out. Twisters, wind. Again, last year, crazy tornadoes all over the place in the country that doesn't see tornadoes, including Buffalo. Now, coming back to the day that Joe Rogan, his podcast, on the 19th day of the 7th month, again, it was 343 days after his last birthday, or 11 months and 8 days, kind of like how his birthday is the 11th of August, the 11th day of the 8th month. Look at the gematria of Los Angeles, California. 197, right? 197, like 19/7. As we talked about, the fires began 89 days after Gavin Newsom's birthday. Big number with LA. Crushes in sports. Hey, learn to take advantage of rig sports. Crushes in rig sports. 89 with all the LA teams. Somebody can become 8-9, pick up the 89th win, 89th loss, over and over. Los Angeles, California, when you run it in reverse, 343. Again, alphabetic order with numerology, reverse alphabetic order with numerology. In reverse, 118. LA's the 118 city. Established on September 4th, the day leaving 118 days left in the year, on the 118th meridian. And the same cipher, Paradise, California, equals 118. LA and Paradise caught on fire on November 8th, 2018. That was 322 weeks from these fires that are going on right now, a day after Gavin Newsom's $322 billion budget proposal, when 322 is a very special number to the occult. Again, it's in Genesis 3:22 about the tree of life, the physical model for Kabbalah, knowing good and evil. There's a good half and an evil half to the Kabbalistic tree of life. The evil half is known as the Klipoth, which is about sorcery and spell casting and having controlling influence over others. Again, Skull and Bones Order 322, Military Industrial Complex 322. The warning about the military industrial complex from Eisenhower as he left office about how it could grow to be beyond your worst nightmare. You know, if you could dig him up, he'd probably tell you, see, I told you, this is what it looks like. This is beyond your worst nightmare. Your own military, your own taxpayer dollars being used to destroy your own cities by these psychopaths who are running this nation and its military. Because this gives them more power, control, influence. See, it's climate change. Give up more rights and liberties. Pay more taxes. You know, California, already one of the most expensive places to live in the world. going to become even more expensive and more expensive all over. It's not just going to be California that's impacted. That's going to impact all of our insurance rates. That's what's been going on. We've all seen that our insurance rates is climbing rapidly because of supposedly these natural disasters that are not natural. Again, it's not a reason that humanity shouldn't look to take better care of the earth, because that absolutely needs to happen. But to understand that this isn't climate change, this is weather warfare. This is military technology being used for the sake of agenda. That is the point. Again, how perfect is that? You know, people who come around, and we show this all the time with the base ciphers. People will say, oh, well, Zach has 4 ciphers. I mean, seriously, where's your argument? 19/7 prediction. Fire starts 89 days after the Jesuit governor's birthday, 343 days after Joe Rogan's birthday. Again, the patent date for HARP is August 11th, which is also Rogan's birthday. HARP, this military technology that can influence weather, storms, said to have the capability of quaking the ground. Just for the record, guys, the Joe Rogan Experience, the name of that show, 102 and 114. Look at Art of War. Art of War is credited to Sun Tzu, but if you look into it, there's no proof of Sun Tzu ever existed. It's the reason we know about the text is because of the Jesuit priest Father Amia. It was published in 1773, a few years before this nation was created, where the Jesuits took it over soon after, and a nation that's pretty much always been at war. You guys know the American Revolutionary War began on April 19th, which is the anniversary of Ignatius of Loyola becoming the first superior general, and on and on and on. And just for the record, you can see how things like World War, also 102 and 14, every world war instigated by the Jesuits. Look up Albert Pike's letter about 3 world wars. It was published on August 15th, 1871. That is the Jesuit order's anniversary of being established. It's addressed to Mazzini, who was the second leader of the Illuminati when the Illuminati was founded by a Jesuit. Pearl Harbor has a lot to do with this as well. It was in the time of the 102nd Emperor of Japan, and Pearl Harbor's got the 114 thing connection as well. The Jesuits have been in Japan for longer than the U.S. has existed. Never forget that 9/11 was simulated by the federal government 102 days before it happened. Operation Amalgam Virgo, June 1st, 2001. You can still look it up. The cover documents Bin Laden's face. In Jewish gematria, Al-Qaeda equals 102. Don't forget how big 102 was with the scandemic. They said it was the worst pandemic in 102 years. Pfizer and GlaxoSmithKline merged exactly 102 weeks before their jab got approved. 102 weeks after the scandemic started, they started the war in Russia, Ukraine, where Biden and Putin met. 201 days into the first Jesuit Ignatian year, right before the war kicked off in the Donbass region, 201. Then we're sending $95 billion to Israel and Ukraine on the 201st day of the war in Israel that kicked off in a big 201 ritual and State of Israel's 201. Again, you learn this code, you see all the manipulation going on and who's doing it. It's all synced up with the Jesuits, their own independent calendar, as well as this calendar that says today I'm doing this broadcast, January 10th, 2025. Again, this calendar is credited to the Jesuit priest Christopher Clavius. The comedian who was on for that episode when Joe Rogan predicted the future, he was actually saying how somebody else was telling about how this wind will come that will just ignite LA on fire. But that comedian is reportedly 38 years old, big fire number. The date of that broadcast, July 19, 2024, had a 70 date numerology, again, fire. So let's now transition to this. The media mocking the idea that directed energy weapons have set these fires in Maui and LA. Again, the Maui fire began August 8th, 2023, 8/8. Remember, the day before the fires began was 88 days after Gavin Newsom's birthday, and that was the day he proposed the $322 billion budget, the military-industrial complex, number 322. But as we talked about, from the start of the Maui fires to the start of the LA fires, exactly 74 weeks later, exactly 74 weeks, they said it was hurricane-force winds in Maui and in LA that ignited these fires. The qualifying wind speed for a hurricane is 74 miles per hour. Look at the word weapon, lasers, and energy. When you run the alphabetic order forwards, they're all 74. When you run it in reverse, they're all 88. From the 8/8 Maui fire start, again, to these fires in California, which equals 88, exactly 74 weeks later, on the nose. And again, 74 is this destructive number. And just for the record, other things that are 74 and 88, Holy Roman Empire is 74 and 88. The word Jewish is 74 and 88. And I think this is important because Pacific Palisades, again, became a refuge for Jews who survived the Holocaust. Holocaust ended in 1945. 2025 has a square root of 45, windstorm 45, a lot of 45 stuff to start the year. We're going to come back to the 108 again. Remember, this windstorm began exactly 108 weeks after Karen Bass became mayor. And in light of The Rock, who's been in movies having to do with destructive environmental events, they began on the 251st day of his age, the 54th prime. But okay. That the 74 also matters because from the burning of Paradise in Los Angeles on November 8, 2018, it was 74 months. The second day of the fire marked 322 weeks. But yeah, I mean, this is exactly what we're talking about with Maui. You guys might recall I was writing a book on the Maui fires, and then I was super disappointed because it had a lot of attention for about a week. And I did so much research on the Maui fires, you guys. I was already halfway into. I was trying to get out like a shorter book, like 100 and some pages. Already like 50 pages in, and then the United States of amnesia set in. Just like nobody cared about the Maui fires after a week. There was just on to the next thing. I was like, look at this. Like nobody cares. You do a video on it, the latest research, nobody cares. It gets like 1,000 views. Everyone already just forgot about it. There's just too much to focus on in the United States of amnesia. Their favorite shows back on, another sports games on, another news story to focus on. So I stopped. I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to wake people up about something they don't even care about anymore. But it's all the same stuff we were talking about then. All the same stuff. And again, just to remind, directed energy weapon equals 108, like windstorm. 108 weeks after the mayor became mayor. And remember, they had to report that the mayor was 7,400 miles away, right? They had to report that she was 7,400 miles away. Let me pull that up real quick. I got that screenshot right here. They had to report 7,400 miles away. They just had to throw that in the story. Again, the fire began on her 97th day of her age, the 25th prime. I told you days earlier to watch for the 97-25 pattern all throughout the year. It's a deadly pattern. But, all right, hold on. I must have put it in a different post. Shoot, I got so many posts. Hold on. Mayor 74 miles. Shoot, where did I put it? Hold on. I know they reported this. And I did share it the other day. Karen Bass, 7,400 miles away. It was the New York Post article. Here's the New York Post right here. Stone-faced LA Mayor Karen Bass refuses to answer questions. And remember when they first published it, they said she was in Arica, which is Chile. So I was like, not even 7,400 miles, but no, not now. They did update it. She was in Africa. And this does remind of the Maui fires because the governor was out of the state at conferences talking about climate change when Maui burned up. And who remember the active lieutenant governor, or the lieutenant governor was the acting governor when Maui burned up, and she was Jesuit educated. She went to University of San Francisco in California. But it's just how they got to throw these little details in there. And again, it was numbers like 47 and 74 that led me to understand that there was something more about numbers, because you'll notice that they insert these numbers in a lot of stories, 74 and 47, just seemingly unnecessarily. I mean, do you need to know that she was 7,400 miles away? It starts to make more sense once you learn about this code and what these numbers are about. 74 is a killing number. Shoot, hold on. I'm not sure if you guys heard me because my computer just locked up, but 74 is a killing number. The word killing equals 74, like stabbing. Again, 3 of the first 5 presidents dead on 7/4. The 74th day of the year, remember the killing of Caesar, the Ides of March by stabbing. A number that comes up a lot in death and destruction. Again, the World Trade Center's on the 74th meridian west. But here, coming back to this directed energy weapon, we covered the 108 piece. The 99 matters because California's birthday is September 9th. Remember, the United States of America also equals 99. This country was named the United States of America on September 9th, 1776. California would eventually be established on that date. The biggest state in the nation. The U.S. military began its development of directed energy weapons in 1999. And remember, when Maui burned up, it was all synced up with The Rock, who plays the Maui character in Moana, and it was synced up with his premiere of the Moana live action film trailer debut, where it begins with an island bursting into flame. But we were talking about how, again, Maui caught on fire on the 99th day of the Rock's age. And if you guys missed it, we predicted 2 earthquakes in California dead on to the date, synced up with The Rock and his San Andreas film. And again, you guys look it up. There was an earthquake 96 days after The Rock's birthday. San Andreas equals 96 earlier this year in Bakersfield. Again, in San Andreas, it's a 9.6 earthquake. You can see where they got the number from when you learn gematria. And then California is 174 years old. And again, it turned 174 on September 9th last year, but we said, well, let's watch 174 days after The Rock's birthday. And sure enough, with 4 minutes left in the day, you got a 4.4 earthquake in California 174 days after The Rock's birthday. We had both those dates circled well before they happened. Earthquake equals 44 and 55. If you look, the one that was 96 days after The Rock's birthday was a 5.5. And the one that happened 174 days was a 4.4. And earthquakes 44 and 55, just like military, is 44 and 55. And you might notice they're both 107 as well, going with the 1989 World Series earthquake, which was also synced with The Rock. But that one was 107 days after Jose Canseco's birthday, who was the last thing shown on TV before that earthquake began. And remember that you had the earthquake in Tibet 56 days after the Superior General's birthday that they said happened at 5:05 a.m. local time, 5:05, like 55. Again, these things are not an accident. These are recurring patterns, super redundant, ritualistic. They sync it up with history. They sync it up with stars on the world stage, which both Joe Rogan and The Rock are. I mean, you survey Americans and say, name 50 famous people. The average American is going to bring up both of these guys' names easily, probably well before they get to the 50th person. Yeah, and if you haven't seen the live action Moana trailer, look it up. It begins with the island just bursting into flame. And here, let's look at this too, because this starts to get creepy. I was looking back at my work on this fire. Again, just talking about the same things here. The governor of the state Jewish. Notice how August 8th is the day leaving 145 days left in the year. Remember what we just said with the windstorm in Los Angeles on January 7th, which can be written 7-1 or 1-7, which was 145 days after the first admitted act of weather warfare. August 15th, which is also the Jesuit Order's birthday. We were talking about how Santa Ana has all these numbers. The Santa Ana winds are blamed for the fire, but it was so perfectly coordinated with the date and the history of weather warfare and the Jesuits. Not to mention the connection with the Superior General, not to mention the connection with Lana Del Rey, Jesuit educated, not to mention the connection with Joe Rogan, who did his little Jesuit ritual, even though, and again, understand, you don't have to be Jesuit educated to be used as a pawn on the chessboard, like, Joe Rogan. But just making the same point here, the day leaving 145 days left in the year. Sodom and Gomorrah. They've done a lot of jokes with Sodom and Gomorrah. Here, you guys want to this is a little bit off topic, but it's just a Sodom and Gomorrah joke. They're even bringing this up, in certain Christian circles right now. Is LA being published for all of the homosexual, just like after 9/11 happened? I forget which one of the televangelists it was that went on and said 9/11 was because of all the homosexuals. You guys, look at this. Look at this. We got to go back to February 23rd, 2022. The FDA approved 54 different size condoms for homosexuals on the 54th day of the year, okay? But here's where this gets better. There's a reason I'm bringing this up. Courtney Lias is who made the announcement on the 54th day of the year for the 54 new sizes of condoms that were experimented with between a group of men age 18 to 54. Do you see how they said there were 252 men in the group? We're going to come back to that. But again, just the Jesuits are a sun cult. Their logo's the sun. Here it is right here. Same logo that's for the County of Orange. But again, 54 different sizes announced on the 54th day of the year. Again, Courtney Lias. But look at Sodom and Gomorrah. They had to use 252 men, right? 252 men. If you flip the ISH logo upside down, it literally spells shit, SHIT. Sodomizers, the Catholic Church, the endless jokes. Remember when they killed George Floyd in a massive 201 ritual, and he was protested in Europe alongside the name of GematriaEffectNews, who was killed on the 201st day of the year, 201 weeks earlier, and how they paralleled it to Michael Brown, who was killed in a 201 ritual. All things that we've covered. I wrote here, I finally got another copy of my book back so I could hold it up. I went out to Seattle last year, and I had a stack of them in a bag. Somebody ran off with my bag. I lost all my books, but there's a big chapter or this whole book's about the Jesuits in 201, but a big chapter on George Floyd and the GematriaEffectNews in here, and Kobe Bryant and his 201 death Jesuit ritual as well. But remember, after George Floyd died, the next day out of Minnesota was the Catholic Church settled for sodomizing children. They paid him $22.5 million, like how George Floyd died on the 225th day of his age. Derek Chauvin eventually got 22 and a half years in prison. The Trinitarian formula in Gematria equals 225, like the Great Tribulation. And here we are in 2025. It was shortly after that Amazon put out Lockdown 2025, where a virus happens and a race war, and then LA's on fire. Things we've been talking about for years. But the reason I'm bringing up the George Floyd thing is because right after the Catholic Church settled for sodomizing children, then you got the story of George Floyd's second grade teacher who remembered what a cute little boy he was. And you remember what the name of the teacher was? Waynel, like anal, Sexton. Waynel Sexton. But yeah, again, you guys, it's not hard to see who's pulling off the jokes on humanity day after day. And what's sad is the number of people who continue to look at this stuff and think somehow it's all a coincidence. 252 men just happens to equate with Sodom and Gomorrah. The thing I get frustrated with is if somebody was critiquing this, they'd be like, well, here, look, I just typed in Sodom and Gomorrah, and, what about the 180 and the 81? Well, 81's big ritual number, 18's big IHS number. It's not far off from 18 to 54. But again, I just get tired of this kind of thinking and retorts. It's like, what about the fact that it does equal 252 in the system we've been teaching about for over a decade? What are the odds of that? And the rest of it too, not to mention the rest of it. I mean, just the whole thing. 54 condoms for gay sex. Do you guys realize that 2 of the gayest neighborhoods in America are right next to Jesuit universities? Again, Capitol Hill is where Seattle University is. That's where all the gays are in Seattle. And the Castro is right next to University of San Francisco. Do you think that's an accident? I mean, really, do you think that's an accident or a coincidence? A lot of homosexual men are Catholics who were raped as children. Again, there's 2 ways you essentially become gay. Well, there's now a third way in the 21st century. The 3 ways that you become gay. You're born gay. A lot of you guys who downplay that, you're wrong. Trust me, my oldest nephew, no one knows for sure that he's gay. He's never had a girlfriend. He's now in his mid-20s. He's super quiet about everything. But he seems so effeminate since he was 2 years old, okay? My mom and I have been saying, he's going to grow up to be gay. It's just so obvious. Very smart from a young age and very gay. And, both of his younger brothers, they're doing well with the ladies, but the oldest brother, just quiet about everything, super shy. You don't know what's going on in his life. It's obvious he's gay. And nobody made him gay. He wasn't molested or raped. He grew up in a good household. It's obvious that he was born gay. And maybe there's something in these pokey-dokes too, that because he was born in the 21st century, a lot more effeminate guys in this era. But all of you guys who say people aren't born gay, you just got to stop. You don't have any proof to support your point. And I've seen other effeminate children at a young age too. Again, some people are clearly born gay. The other way is you get molested, abused, and you learn that there's some kind of pleasure in that. Maynard James Keenan O'Toole, who participated in some of the 56 rituals with Joe Rogan with the cooties pandemic. But Maynard James Keenan O'Toole, how many songs did he make about getting raped and abused as a child? And in his lyrics, does he not allude to like there's some kind of pleasure in the pain? Yeah, he does. Just like how Freddie Got Fingered, the movie that Hollywood put out at the end of the 90s with the kid from American Pie and Tom Green. He learns that when he gets that anal exam, that there's some pleasure in that, right? So again, there's another way to become gay, to learn that there's some pleasure in having something shoved up your booty. And I mean, in this day and age, a lot of, before I met Sweet Lady, I realized that the younger girls, a lot of them were getting more into, they wanted it in their butt. Like the girls from my age, I'm born in 83. I never met a girl from my age group who wanted in their butt, but then you start being with some of these younger women who were like a decade younger than me. They wanted it in their ass. So it just it's even just beyond guys. But again, the third way is the age we live in. The age we live in, where it's everywhere. Every show you watch, it's got a gay scene, more and more transgender scenes. People being seduced by the TV, going along with the crowd. Oh man, this gay thing's become popular. Maybe I need to try it out. I told you guys the joke. It's funny. When I used to have my medical delivery business, I had a little gay black guy who was a customer. His name was Anthony, but he was hilarious. I didn't mind. Don't take this right. I didn't mind hanging out with this guy and smoking with him because he was hilarious. But he'd also super flirt and hit on me, and he'd beg me, he'd say, "Come on, let me be your first." This was never going to happen, but he was funny and he was cool, and we got along in other ways. But he would always make the argument. He'd say, "Listen, man, it's not even taboo anymore." He's like, "You don't know how many straight guys want to try this out." I wasn't doubting what he was saying. I said, "Well, that's great and all, but it's not for me. It's never going to happen with me, but I'm glad you're a good customer and I'll smoke a bowl with you." But again, this is the age we live in. And that's also why you see things like this, 54 new condoms on the 54th day of the year from the Jesuits who are polluting society. No, I don't think it's good for men to be effeminate. Men are men. We're supposed to be the leaders. We're supposed to be the warriors in society. When tyrants come around, we're supposed to crush them. But we don't have that in society. We have men with no backbone. Guys that play video games. They're 50 years old. They're still video gameaholics. They're in their Marvel comic movies. Occasionally they'll log online and troll a guy like me. Loser. And then they get back to playing their video games. They might be out with Anthony right now. Anthony might be giving them their first. So anyway. Yeah, okay. Got off topic with this, but at the same time, it is on topic, isn't it? Joe Rogan, news radio, news radio, his first show, news radio 54, right? Jesuit order. What's the Jesuit headquarters? The Church of the Jesus, Building 54, the first Jesuit university established by a 54-year-old John Carroll, on and on and on. So yeah, just about the Sodom and Gomorrah thing. Again, you see this with the televangelists, always bringing up the homosexuality. God's punishing us. Again, they know they have everybody under their religious spell. They know that's a big part of the division. They know it'll keep people making all kinds of crazy arguments. You guys, LA is not on fire, and 9/11 didn't happen because of gay people, okay? You are seeing society crumbling because of these agendas. It is sad that it seems like most of the boys in my town, the only ones I see outside that work at places, they got long fingernails, they're wearing dresses. I'm just like, look at the age we live in. This is crazy. I live in a small town, and this has impacted small town America. Guys with 6-inch glittery nails, 6'2" dude at the store in a dress. Come on, man. Come on. You don't think this is an easier society to conquer, where the men are like this? The only people who are militant and masculine are the young ladies. Reminds me when I was driving for Uber and Lyft for 3 months. I had this lady. She came out with this big-ass suitcase. It was as big as her. And just like I did for everybody, I said, here, let me get that for you and throw that in the trunk. Let me help you out with that big suitcase. She's like, I don't need your help. I said, oh, I'm sorry. Here, I popped the trunk for her. I said, you're welcome to put it in there yourself. She has trouble lifting this big-ass suitcase with these hard edges. She lops it up into my trunk, smacks the bumper, puts a big scuff on the bumper, puts it in the car. I didn't say nothing. I was just like, look at this. Going to get paid, what, $15 for this ride? Cost to fix that's probably going to be about $300. Didn't say nothing, It was nice to her the whole way, but I thought, this is the age we live in. I'm trying to help out this little lady with this big-ass suitcase. When I offered to help her, she acted like I was some kind of dickhead, and then smashes her suitcase, and she's getting it up into the trunk, into the back of my car. It doesn't say nothing. Again, you guys, these are the times we live in. You guys remember how Joe Biden showed up in Maui on the state's 64th birthday? Joe Biden also equals 64. Barack Hussein Obama, 64. The last major Dora was in the year 64. Pepsi was established in 64. You might recall Pepsi had just put out their new Dews soda right before it was like Maui Dew or something. Maui Dew right before this happened. Hold on, though. I was trying to... Again, just the 145 thing was there. From the state's last birthday to the fire was the 353rd day of the state's age, the 71st prime. This time, the event that's very similar in Los Angeles begins on 7/1. You see how this goes? And I'm just fitting in with the Catholic theme because, again, the Catholic Church has indoctrinated the world. Again, you might have not been Catholic, you might have been Protestant, but isn't Protestant just like the spreading of the Catholic brand? It's the same religion. It's mostly the same. You just don't get the confessional and the purgatory. Again, I was raised Lutheran. After Martin Luther led the Protestant Reformation, go to any Lutheran church today, IHS is hanging everywhere. It's like, oh, it just means in his service. You're like, are you sure? Sure it's not the Jesuit thing? Is Sus Omnum Salvator? Sure it's not in your face that you're really just doing what they wanted you to do? Protestant Reformation was just to spread the brand. You guys know Martin Luther was killed in the year 46. Catholic sacrifice, Genesis 46 about sacrifice, both words 46, like what they did with Beau Biden, RIP. How Dora overlap with fire. Remember, this fire in LA has all these same numbers on it. Maui, the fire god. From the flooding of Hawaii that they said was the worst in 25 years to the fire was 29 months later on the nose. 29 months later on the nose. First flood, then fire. I have so much work on Maui. There's way more than this. Hurricane Dora, like directed energy weapon. The Pepsi Cola company who just put out the Maui Dew flavor. Mountain Dew. Maui burst. There you go. As it burst into flames. Pepsi Cola Company 183, like order out of chaos, like the name of the governor. From the flavor coming out to the fire, what was 183 weeks? Okay. Pearl Harbor, of course, 183. Pearl Harbor happened on December 7th, 127. 127 was coded all over the Maui fire, including it happening 127 days after the Moana live-action trailer being released. Yeah, don't forget about the 2018 Hawaii false missile alert. 38 minutes and 13 seconds later, they let them know it was a false alert. It happened 247 days after the governor took office, while the country was 247 years old. The 50th and final state on fire, the week of hip-hop's 50th birthday. Again, hip-hop based on the 808 drum machine. Hawaii became the 808 area code on August 8th, which is the day the fires began. Don't forget what they did to Magoo at age 50 just a couple days later. Synced up with Timbaland. Have you guys noticed that Timbaland does this thing on YouTube where he says he wants to hear your music and it has like no one watching? I'm like, how weird is this? Did Timbaland fall out of the good graces? Like, how is Timbaland doing live streams that have 300 people watching? If you guys haven't noticed that, he's on YouTube a lot, live streaming, saying, I want to hear your music, and nobody's watching the stream. I'm like, okay, that is weird. You'd think like there'd be a million people on that. Okay, so yeah, we talked about the Crowley thing, another 201 thing in light of Joe Rogan's broadcast on the 201st day of the year, predicting what's now happened. If you got here late, you want to rewind and catch all that. There's a lot to it. Again, Lana Del Rey, Jesuit educated, The closing to her song, The Greatest, alludes to this fire. The fire began on her 201st day of her age. Hawaii just missed a fireball. LA is in flames. It's getting hot. Again, the fire began on the 121st day of the state's age. Again, her name is 121, her actual birth name. And the song The Greatest came out 277 weeks before the fire, which is the 59th prime, going with this whole Revelation theme. And again, her song came out on September 13th, 2019. Remember, Chaos is 19. We're in the time of the 19th mayor, or not mayor, excuse me, 19th fire chief, who's by the way, is part of the LGBTQT community, going with these rumors that the televangelists are promoting. But 19 is the chaos code. Again, her name 256. The song came out on the 256th day of the year. And remember, you guys, assault weapons ban, that was the day in history the assault weapons ban happened too. 256. Again, 256 is the 201st composite number. Second Amendment equals 256. Attacking the Second Amendment. And remember, assault weapons ban, or not just assault weapons, or hold on. Or it's gun control. Sorry, my bad. Gun control is 139, like how the date can be written 13/9. I'm just bringing this up because it's all related. The nation's first major act of gun control legislation was 201 days after MLK died and 139 days after RFK died. And RFK 10 days earlier had given a speech on the need for gun control in relation to the MLK assassination. And remember, Martin Luther King Jr. was killed on the 95th day of the year, like Martin Luther wrote the 95 Theses 201 months before the Jesuit order was created. And by the way, guys, from understanding that, we picked Notre Dame to be in the college championship this year at the very start of the season based on these few things. Notre Dame equals 95. This year, the championship's in Georgia. Kirby Smart's first win of the year was his 95th. Notre Dame's the Catholic school. The college championship for the first time ever is on MLK Day, 20/1, the 201st day of the nation's age. Not to mention the first college ranked game this year was in Ireland, like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And of course, Ireland's known for Irish Catholics like the Kennedy family. But just from understanding that piece of history and how the games are rigged, we had Notre Dame in the championship. We did think at the beginning of the year they were most likely to face either Georgia or Ohio State. And I'll just warn you guys about that prediction. It is possible that they face Ohio State. That had to do with the death of Johnny Gaudreau, who went to Boston College, the Jesuit school. It is possible that happens. The Notre Dame coach played at Ohio State. Lou Holtz just turned 88, who coached Notre Dame and was an assistant with Ohio State. Notre Dame hasn't won it since 88. The Pope just turned 88. But I'm going to warn you guys about Texas. Texas is interesting because the last time, or not, the second to last time Notre Dame won the championship, they beat Texas the year Jimmy Carter became president, the 39th president. Texas just won their last game with 39, and Jimmy Carter just died on the state of Texas's birthday. So tonight's game is going to be tough. We're going to talk about more on Patreon. I'm going to try to go through some more artifacts and see if I can nail down which one is the right one. I'd like to see it be Ohio State, just because at the beginning of the year we said it was Notre Dame likely versus Georgia or Ohio State. It might end up being Texas. We'll see. But again, you guys, we do this year after year. College and pro, nail futures, nail games, help people pad their pockets. Again, this knowledge, you guys, you can see how the media is rigged, the games are rigged, how the weather warfare is literally synced up with the games, like the Calgary Flames game being canceled, like them moving this thing to State Farm Stadium. It's sick. Remember, home insurance is going to skyrocket, they tell us. And I already told you that before any of this happened. I told you this would keep happening because it's the agenda, but home insurance, 71, 145, like Santa Ana, going with those numbers being big. And the start of the ritual. You know what? Maui, those numbers are all over the Maui thing too, right? All of these crazy fires, burning up all this expensive real estate, boosting everybody's insurance costs across the nation, across the world, making the cost of living more for everybody. Again, the Jesuit Klaus Schwab, you'll own nothing and be happy. They're pricing us out of living. Home insurance, 64, like Maui. Now that I go back and look at it, Joe Biden shows up on the 64th day of the state's age. 64th birthday of the state. Again, Joe Biden, 64. Barack Hussein Obama, 64. Year of the Civil Rights Act. Kamala born in 64. Anyway. Again, it was 56 days after the Superior General's birthday. Lana Del Rey coming back to how this Jesuit was used in some of the predictive programming. All right. So yeah, again, I want to cover this too about State Farm canceling 72,000 policies. This was announced March 20th, and the policies began on July 3rd. We're going to talk about both those things. 320, right? Roman Catholic Church is 320. The Roman Catholic Church began celebrating Jesus' birthday on 1225. It was first proposed by the Pope, I should say. It was first proposed by the Pope in the year 320 AD that the Catholic, or that they begin celebrating Jesus' birthday on 1225. And again, Isus Hominum Salvator, the Jesuit motto, is 274. The Catholic Church began celebrating the sun's birthday, the sun in the sky, on 1225, known as Sol Invictus. See how Sol Invictus is 71 and 46 like Catholic? 71, 46. Religion has that, 46, of course. But from 274 to 320 AD is 46 years later, right? 46 years later. We talked about how this fire in LA began 13 days after Sol Invictus, or you could say on the 14th day of the state's age, and 4 fires by day 2. 41's the 13th prime. There was something else about 41 that's escaping my mind right now with this fire. Something happened 41 days earlier. It doesn't matter right now. It's not that important, but again, I'll always remind you, Kobe died on a Sunday at age 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age, traveling from Catholic Mass with his daughter at age 13. And then the Lakers won the finals on Father-Daughter Day, exactly 41 weeks after LeBron's birthday, who also played at a Catholic high school. 41 plus 13 is 54, like Son's 54, like Kobe Bean Bryant's 54, like Jimmy Carter's 54. Again, Jimmy Carter's Sunday Night Football that night. SNF, we call it the 39 game. Number 39's dead before SNF. And then the primetime games, his Atlanta Falcons versus the nation's capital, as the coach of the nation's capital gets his 54th win with 54 points scored in the game as they become 7-2 at home, which we called out before the game happened, as we've done a gazillion times, and still people don't care. But that's 72. Again, Jesuit order 72. The sun moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel every 72,000 years. We got the first Jesuit pope on the 72nd day of the year. They began canceling policies on July 3rd. That day can be written 3-7, can it? July 3rd. 3-7, like Los Angeles 37, like how these fires began 37 days after the anniversary of the last terrible windstorm of December 1st, 2011. Weather also 37. From July 3rd to the start of the fire was 188 days. 188 is a money number. The U.S. dollar bill denominations, the 1, the 2, the 5, the 10, the 20, the 50, the 100. You add them up, they add up to 188. The Illuminati symbolisms all over the dollar bills. The initial name of the Illuminati was the Bavarian Illuminati, 188. Adam Weishaupt, the Jesuit, renamed it Order of Illuminati, 201. Order of Illuminati, also 105. Like Masonry, you can look up George Washington's letters that are in the National Archive about his fears and concerns about the Illuminati infiltrating Freemasonry. Right now, we're in the time of the 105th NFL season as they move this game to State Farm Arena. Remember, when the Paradise and Los Angeles fires happened on November 8, 2018, the Monday Night Football game had Jared Goff beating Mahomes with 105 points, an NFL record. And then after the game, they brought out Jared Goff and his father, who was reportedly a firefighter who was fighting those fires. That was after the game, like, wow, what a game. Go back and listen to the dialogue. They probably said, you set the field on fire. It's usually how these people do things. But yeah, again, that was synced up with the fires. Andy Reid, who's from LA, the coach of the Chiefs, the fire began 71 days before his birthday on the date that can be written 7-1. All year they were doing the Bundle Ruski ad where he was on 145 regular season losses all year until he lost to the Broncos at the end of the year with their starters bench. But Bundle Ruski's 145. Super Bowl's 145 days after Mahomes' birthday. Bundle Ruski's also 71. And again, this is not an accident. Just like last year. Last year, the State Farm ad over and over was Bundle. Bundle 58 Fords, 104 in reverse. Chiefs with Mahomes does the ads, goes on to win Super Bowl 58 in the 104th season. Swift, 58. Taylor Allison Swift, 104. Scripted sports, syncing up with the right celebrities, on and on and on. Again, State Farm, 103rd NFL season. Mahomes wins the Super Bowl in State Farm Arena. Pacific Palisades, 103 years old right now. They're moving the game to State Farm Arena because of these fires. Mockery. Planned ritual. Who did it? Jesuits, 103. Jesuits, 22, like arson. Fire began on the 22nd day of the first ever Jesuit Pope's age. By the way, Pope Francis, the 266th Pope in the history of the Church. Jesus Hominum Salvator, 266. Also 122, like Pope Francis. So, let's see. Oh, by the way, look at that. I mean, just from them canceling the policies to January 7th was also 26 weeks and 6 days. I mean, speak of the devil. All right, we got to cover Trump the felon now. The first ever felon president for 2025. If you guys have been following me from the beginning, we showed how the whole thing was a structured joke the whole time. The whole time I was saying the same thing. Trump will win the election. This will add to his polarization of the nation. When they took him off the ballot in Colorado, I told you they'd reinstall him by the numbers. They reinstalled him on the Colorado ballot on March 4th, the old inauguration day. Just called it out the whole time in spades. We were ahead of the curve the whole time, showing what a joke all of these trials were and all of these places, all these indictments. It was all one big sick joke. And again, we were told it was all just part of the 60th election. Look at Alvin Bragg, Donald Trump, and indictment. This was, oops, I spelled indictment wrong. All right, look at these words, okay? Can you see how they're all 48 forward, 60 in reverse? So remember the headline, 60% of Americans approve of the Donald Trump indictments. Remember, this was the 60th election. Donald Trump's ex-wife died 45 years after their marriage, 60 weeks into the first Jesuitic nation year, on the same day that he said he would run for president. That same day, there was a 72-page report based on 60 legal cases put out by conservatives against Trump for the upcoming election. This same number got used a million times, from New York to Atlanta to the rest of it. And again, Alvin Bragg versus the braggart Donald Trump. I just want to go over today's ritual and then just talk about some of the highlights of what a joke it was and literally how it was completely synced up with Donald Trump. If you guys don't know, Donald Trump calls himself Bruce Wayne. He says he's Batman. Bruce Wayne, 45, right? Remember, Joker is 59. We're going to get to where that matters with this latest final thing from Juan Merchan, which also equals 45, the Judge Juan Merchan. But remember, they had to tell you that they had just filmed the latest Joker scene in the same courtroom where Trump appeared after being indicted on the anniversary of Heath Ledger's birthday. Would have been his 44th birthday when Trump showed up in court on 4-4. And even though Trump was number 45, he was the 44th person to be president because of Grover Cleveland's split term. But remember, when Trump showed up in court, it was also the 100th anniversary of Warner Brothers, who do the Batman series. So look at how this is what we've been talking about for all these years since he appeared in court in 2023 on April 4th. Let's just see how it all played out with the judge finally upholding that, yes, you are going to go down as a felon. So like we say, the Jesuits run the show. Everything's synced up with the Pope and the Superior General. Today's felon official ruling comes on the 25th day of the Pope's age for Trump and the felon. We've been talking about Trump attached to the Pope's hip since 2015. Today's date numerology is 56, by the way. You know, Pope's also got the 56 connection and like Society of Jesus. The Jesuits, the Society of Jesus, serve the Pope. But yes, again, they had to let you know the connection with Joker and Batman and Trump throughout the whole thing. So go figure that today is 59 days after the Superior General's 76th birthday. And as we'll get to, Joker's also 76, like Donald John Trump. And remember, a couple days after Arturo Sosa turned 76, they told you that Donald Trump was the first president to ever get 76 million votes while running as a Republican. You could also say today is 59 days after the Superior General's birthday. You could also say it's the 60th day of his age. You know, it's all because of Alvin Bragg's indictment, because of the 60th election that was on the day, leaving 56 days left in the year. But here, New York Post headline from back when he was first in court, polls 76% say Trump indictment political, 60% approve. They use these same numbers over and over on all kinds of networks. The final joke comes while the superior general is 76 years old. Again, first Republican president to surpass 76 million votes. In the base ciphers, if you don't know this, just how judge, gavel, jury, and Trump overlap. I mean, just take a good look. Remember, Trump put in the most federal judges ever in a single term. You think that's an accident in light of how his name overlaps with judge? I remember his first Supreme Court justice that went in was Neil Gorsuch. Neil Gorsuch, 58, like how Trump won the 58th election in Big 58 ritual. But Neil Gorsuch went in on the April 7th, like Judge's 47, like Trump's 47, like how now he's going to be 47, gavel 47. That April 7th is the 97th day of the year, like Supreme Court, Supreme 97, 97 the 25th prime, like how we were just saying with Judge and gavel and Trump and all these things. Biden also got Ketanji Brown Jackson in her confirmation on April 7th. You know, same thing, same ritual. Ketanji Brown Jackson, a million different 201s in that, and then she was finally installed. They did the swearing on April 7th, but then they didn't put her in until like a week before they overturned Roe versus Wade in a big 201 ritual on modern Freemasonry's birthday, which is also John the Baptist's birthday. But it was the Dobbs-Jackson case, as you get, and they're saying that it's going to impact black women the most. As you get the first black female Supreme Court justice with the surname Jackson. It's maddening that we're not the most viral thing on the internet in light of all that we've exposed, and just coming back to the same things. Like, it's like, like, you might be like, I can't believe you believe what you're about to say, but like, seriously, I don't understand how Joe Rogan's more popular than us. I really don't. I get that he's a celebrity and was on TV, but what the hell is he putting out there that's worth anything? What we're putting out is worth the most valuable information there ever was every single day, showing you who's ruining your nation, telling you how they're going to burn your city down next. Just like how in the chorus to Slipknot's Gematria, the killing name, America's a killing name and will burn your cities down. I wonder who wrote the chorus to that song. Anyway, Judge Juan Merchant, just for the record, 88. You know, Juan Merchant, 45, 2025, square root of 45. Got to wrap it up here just days before the scandemic, or yeah, it's not the scandemic, but there's probably another one of those on the horizon, but just the scam election. Today's the 211th day of Trump's age, you guys. 211 is the 47th prime. It's like the Vatican's birthday is February 11th. Vatican equals 47. You might recall last year, the first ever Super Bowl on the Vatican's birthday, 47 points in the game. The score was 25-22. Vatican 25 and 47. Again, just if you're new here about 47, the Mason study, the 47th problem of Euclid, is a major number of authority. You had Trump saying this back in 2020. He's done more in 47 months than Biden's done in 47 years. Again, Joe Biden became a senator in the 72 election, which was the 47th U.S. presidential election. For all you guys who can't follow things like that, you're like, they didn't elect number 47 back in 70. That's not what I said. I said it was the 47th U.S. presidential election. They elected Richard Nixon, who had to resign. By the way, Richard Nixon equals 74, resigned in 74, perfectly synced up with Gerald Ford, who changed his name, and he did it on the day, leaving 144 days left in New York. The Jesuits been running the whole show the whole time. But anyway, Biden took office with 47-year-old Obama. Kamala, there's still a chance that Kamala becomes the first female president. It's looking unlikely at this point, but again, you know, Kamala, whose father came up with, Kamala's father is named Donald J. Harris, but he came up with Huey P. Newton, who died at 47. Kamala spoke at the DNC in Chicago, where Fred Hampton, the Black Panther, was murdered, but she spoke on the death anniversary of Huey P. Newton at 47. There are a lot of 47 stuff. Oprah, who asked Trump back in 88 if he'd want to be president, she had her ritual with Kamala 47 days for the election in the 248 area code, when President Donald Trump equals 248. The country's 248 years old, and Pluto has a 248-year-old orbital cycle, and Pluto is the root word of plutocracy, and plutocracy is when you're ruled over by the rich, like what Donald Trump represents, this Jesuit scum liar that has a lot of dopes under his mega spell. Anyway, president, White House, government authority, Republican, Whig, Democrat, DC, Trump, they're all 47. The list goes on. Time, news, just it's the authority number. It's the time number, and time's the ultimate authority. It's why they do so many rituals with this number. But now here we are today. He's going to be number 47. And on the 211th day of his age, he's going to be the first felon. It's just, it's business as usual, really. But Juan Merchant, remember, Stormy Daniels took the stand 45 days after her 45th birthday. This is of the hush money. And we were saying that right from the beginning. This was all about the election on 11/5. Hush money's got the 47 as well. The 115, the 34 charges, which were the same charge made into 34 charges. Remember, he got sentenced during Passover. Passover had to do with Jesus' crucifixion. Trump said he was being crucified. Trump said he was like Jesus. Passover is also 115 and 47, like the election. We were pointing out all these things all along the way. Jesus 34, cross 34, church 34. Get it? Get it? Jesus 74. Trump left office at 74, and his political career was resurrected. We called out all this stuff years in advance, way before any of these trials started, how they'd bring him back. His career would be resurrected, a big Jesus ritual. That's why we should be the most famous show on the net, because best predictions ever, more on point than anybody who ever graced the web, undeniable knowledge that adds up more and more each day. And to show for it, over the decade, we've gone from getting 100,000 views on average, like I was getting in 2016, 2017, to down to, what 1,000 views? Like, how does that even happen unless you're in a highly contrived environment where they're suppressing the best information and pushing out the worthless shit like Joe Rogan? That's exactly what's going on, and people are too dumb to see it. Here, I want to go back to this post right here. Donald Trump surrendered and appeared in court on the anniversary of Heath Ledger's death, who died while filming the Joker right after they did the Joker scene in the same courtroom. But look, it was exactly 83 weeks for the election, and we pointed this out then. R.I.P. Heath Ledger would have been 44, the big kill number. Stormy Daniels was still 44. She turned 45 the next year when the trial began, but she was 44 at the time. Trump was the 44th person to be president. Heath Ledger, again, dead while playing the Joker, would have been his 44th birthday. Again, from him appearing in court, where he got the 34 charges, to the election was exactly 83 weeks. Election 83, felon 83. And murder's 83, like the song Murder by Numbers came out in 83. Murder's the sport of the elected. I'm sure the Heath Ledger thing played in there. But yeah, just Donald Trump, the braggart versus Alvin Bragg. Just all synced up with the 60th election. So, again, just Warner Brothers and Batman. Trump appeared in court literally on the 100th anniversary of Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers 76 as well, like Donald John Trump, like Joker. Whole thing concludes while the Superior General's 76. I might have missed there's something about the Batman comic. God, there's a lot of posts I linked there if you want to go back. You guys can come to my website, GematriaEffectNews. I link some of the more notable posts, but really we covered so much about all this stuff. There's a lot. Here we go. Donald Trump was indicted on the 84th anniversary of the original publication of Batman. And then he again appeared in court on Heath Ledger's birthday. But yeah, it had the magazine. So for people who don't know how magazines work, it's this way to this day. They'll publish them on a certain day, but then they'll put a date on it. This magazine was published March 30th, 84 years earlier to the day. It did have May 1939 on the thing, and realize Batman's 39, New York's 39, May's 39, so that's not by accident. Detective Comics, what DC stands for, is 88, like Trump, like how the Pope's 88 now, is it's wrapped up while the Pope's 88. And we were saying these things a long time ago, why Trump would come back while the Pope's 88 in 2025. And I've been saying for a long time, he could be 47 or 48. It could work out either way. Donald Trump's also 48. It's looking like it's going to be 47. Again, the reason we thought it could be 48 is because what Gerald Ford said in the Herbert Hoover Library, that there will be a female president and she will not be voted in. It'll happen because there'll be an old man who will die in office and then the female will become president. Again, Kamala was born the exact same day that Herbert Hoover died. You never know, too. They might have had that plan. That getting exposed so many times. There's a lot of people who are aware of that. These people want to keep me small and irrelevant, and then they want idiots like the guy doing the stream right now to just be pointing out, oh, what happened to Kamala becoming president? It's like, okay, does that really matter? Does that take away from what we're showing each day? Do we not say years in advance why Trump would win this election? Was I not arguing with people years ago when he was starting to get in trouble? And people said, no, there's no way they're going to put him in there. I said, just watch. Just watch. Was I the only person on the internet who said Biden was going to become number 46? Probably not. There's probably somebody else. But I mean, was there anybody else who has an audience and a known name? Was there anybody else's name who you can type into ChatGPT that it knows a million things about, who was saying why Biden was going to be number 46 in 2020? Because everyone thought I was wrong about that too. I know I was the first person online in 2015 who said Trump was going to be president because everyone thought it was wackadoodle when I said it. I said it the day they had their first debate. You guys can go back and watch the first debate in 2015, the first Republican debate when there's a field of 20 candidates. They put up on the screen, Trump is the 133rd richest man in the world, president 133, White House 133, government 133. The only thing I didn't cover on that list was the president, and the reason why is because I didn't know reverse gematria in 2015. But I pointed out these two. I said White House and government. I said these are big numbers with the White House. I said I think they're telling you that they're putting in The Apprentice. They're like, nah, it's ridiculous. And it is true that later in 2016, probably around June 2016, I thought I was wrong, and I said, oh, maybe it's actually Hillary. It is true that I came off the Trump thing, but I called it out in spades in 2015. People saying things we're saying are crazy, and then they keep happening, and then you never have these people who come back and apologize and say, you know what, you were right. I thought you were crazy. Shit, you were right again. My troll still got his video up making fun of my Notre Dame prediction from earlier this year. When they lost to NIU, he said, oh, what a dumb prediction. Oh, well, here they are in the championship. Doesn't look like it was that dumb. It's like, you're the dummy. Here, let me make sure I got through the whole Trump thing here. Oh, that's the one other thing today. It's down here at the bottom of the post. I didn't get to it. It's January 10th, right? Isn't this the day that Trump got cooties the other year? Wasn't it January 10th that he got cooties? It's down here. President has the 110 connection. You can also write today 10/1. Remember the whole thing with Luigi Mangione, the shooting of the CEO outside of the hotel that Trump was in for the 2016 election. Remember, that was 47 days before Inauguration Day. And everything they encoded in that story points to the Ides of March, the day to remember the assassination of Caesar in 44 BC. This whole thing with Trump appearing in court on what would have been Heath Ledger's 44th birthday, who died while playing the Joker. I see this pointing to the Ides of March too. Today has 56 date numerology. The Ides of March is March 15th. Remember, the New Orleans shooting in Trumpetown was at 3:15 a.m. And then the Trump Tower explosion, and then the Azamura club shooting in Queens where Trump was born. See what they got for us on the Ides of March. About these 34 charges, too, you guys, that were one charge. Oh, yeah, not guilty. He pleaded on Heath Ledger's, when his 44th birthday. But again, the 34 charges: Hush Money 34, Stormy 34, April 34, Passover 34, Jewish 34. Again, inside Trump's demands for a high-profile surrender, it's kind of a Jesus Christ thing. By the way, there was the news on April 3rd before he appeared in court that this is going to happen, and that's what Day's Science says is the crucifixion of Jesus, April 3rd, which can be written 4-3 or 3-4. But Jesus and Cross 34, Jesus Christ 43. Oh, yeah, he wasn't allowed to post on Twitter, which hadn't been renamed X yet. I mean, you guys, come on. We were telling you the whole time. This is all about the November 5th election, making it extra polarizing as they reinstall him. It was a date with 51 numerology. That's right, that he appeared there, and 15, like Batman, because he says he's Bruce Wayne. Trump, I'm Batman, as he tells a little boy. Probably off to a Diddy party. The real diddler right here. D for diddler. Yeah, here's the Batman Donald Trump comparison. Multi-billionaire businessman, has a tower named after him, fights to uphold the law. He said, I am Batman, born into a wealthy family. I didn't know about the Batman's fighting the world from an alien threat. That's interesting. When Reagan was the president, they had the alien thing at the 1984 Olympics. But Trump and the illegal aliens, that's funny. And don't forget what border wall equals either, right? Border wall, just to remind you guys. Trump wants the Panama Canal back after 47 years now. And again, I mean, did we ever hear Trump talking about the Panama Canal all these years until just recently? Just another 47 ritual, because again, we gave it away in 77, 47 years and change ago now. But it's just, this whole time, it's just been such a joke, man. It is such a joke. So, all right, let's see. All right, look at this video that's going on right now. Are the Jesuits linked to Los Angeles fires? The mystery behind the LA fires. Why Zachary Hubbard missed it. Did we miss it? I mean, I've literally been talking about the film Lockdown 2025 and how LA gets caught on fire and all the shit that could go on in 25. I mean, go back and it's too bad they deleted you can go back and watch those videos and YouTube not deleted my channel multiple times since then even. That was back in 2021, but I was saying, is this one of the things they have planned for 2025? LA on fire? We didn't even have to get like a week into the year and it happened. So yeah, he's saying, I mean, I would argue that we did call it, not to mention I've said 1,000 times that, again, if we don't stop this cabal, they're going to continue to do the same things by the same patterns, igniting places on fire, destroying people's land, coming back, claiming it for pennies on the dollar with these destructive acts, raising the cost of living for everybody. I said I was never going to go back on this guy's channel, but he also agreed in that stream that he wasn't going to do any more streams like this. He's done multiple since. I have not gone back on there since that day, but for the sake of seeing if it's possible to have a breakthrough, I don't think it is. I think these people are agents, but for a long time. Let me see if this is the right way to join the stream. All right. All right. I got to switch the audio around here to do a couple things to switch it around. Look at this. Isn't this dumb? This is a new thing. I want to switch the audio, right? So I'm going to switch to my iMac microphone. Oh, doesn't let you switch. Doesn't let you switch. This just started like 2 weeks ago. It's like, what are these improvements, supposed improvements you're making? I can't even change my sound, but I know what you have to do. You have to go to your actual system controls for your computer, and you have to change the on, and then it does it. So testing. Yeah, the sound should be a little bit different. Yeah. All right. Marino, he's race baiting.
Fucking problem with these blacks. The nigga Vic said that he would come to Cleveland. Then Vic, I say, why don't you go to Buffalo? I mean, you trying? What do you say? You trying to get us a crash dummy? So you would rather attack me, whether physically or mentally, but you want to attack that fucking hunky who wasn't raised around blacks, who never talked to a black. He went up to Buffalo and killed 10 black people, but not the Pookies and Ray Rays. This motherfucker killed innocent elderly blacks. And you mean to tell me that
Here, I don't even want to listen to this until I get on here. But here's what I'd like to say. This show is pretty well funded. This guy makes good money doing this. Here I am doing another mind-blowing broadcast. We have raised, thank you, Space Invader. Thanks to Space Invader, we have raised $10. Thanks to Pretty Kitty, we've raised $15. Thanks to Disambiguation, we're up to $17. We'll go over that later, but he just brought me on. Hold on.
What I say? Prove me wrong, nigga. Get on camera. Show me anything black right now, nigga. Show it to me. Show me your black card, nigga. Show me that black paycheck that has a black company's name on it and a black man is paying you. Nigga, stop. Nobody today can argue with me about black shit today. I'm the king of this shit. Even with Tariq, nigga. Tariq ain't even better than me because Tariq is lying and scamming too. Fuck it. Fuck all of y'all, to be honest with you, man. And yeah, and I have a and you're right. I did talk about y'all hair. Cut that shit off, man. That nigga that.
All right. I gotta mute him again until he brings me back on, but yeah, these streams he's doing represent what's wrong with the world. Like, why is he not sharing the information we're putting out? How can you be making fun of it? But sadly, in a way, he represents like 90% of the populace. I mean, this is our country. He gets on here and does a race baiting stream each day, is well financially supported. This is the kind of stuff people would rather listen to. Making fun of the truth. I mean, that's why I say, in a way, when they burn down these cities, I feel bad. I hate to see the destruction. I hate to see the waste, the evil. But it's like, probably 90% of the people had it coming. I mean, it's probably deserved. These are the same people that might as well be this guy. So. Humanity enslaved. I'm not talking about you. I don't know why you're crying in the chat. I don't understand your comment, dude. I'm talking about again. There's a lot of people that are not on Patreon. The majority of people who watch this work are not on Patreon. They don't do any support. I'm just saying how you have these channels like this, like CT, made by Jim Bob, sitting on here making fun of me and being well funded is just weird to watch. It's like, these people do is detrimental to the world. Yeah, I hear that question about who is Bob. Yeah, Bob is the guy who donates the majority of money to this guy, but 3.7 quake in San Fran today.
Ours in California.
No, I was
people.
trying. Oh, no, yeah.
Star people.
No. I really believe it was an energy weapon. I believe it was an energy weapon, to be honest with you.
You know what? Now that you brought that dynamic into it, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, because people still don't believe that they can manipulate the weather.
What's up, little late?
You know what I'm saying?
Do I get to talk since you got me in your stream again?
Hold on for a second. Mulatto, hey, look, check it, dude. I don't live in fucking Nigeria. Nigeria's a shithole. It's a disgusting place to live, as most parts of Africa are, bro. I don't give a fuck about Africa. I don't give a fuck about Nigeria, dude. I'm an American. Quit telling me about Nigeria. I don't give a fuck about Nigeria. Nigeria's not a superpower. Stop, man. Not today, dude. Not today, dude. Not today. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, first of all, I'd say your title is incorrect. Have you seen my video from 2021 about lockdown 2025 and Los Angeles being on fire?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we covered this in 2021. You guys can look it up. The movie was put out, Lockdown 2025, about these three things happen in the movie. First, a mass alert goes out over the television that everybody needs to stay in their home because there's some kind of viral outbreak. And then a race war breaks out. Here's your channel, CT.
Outbreak of your do funniness.
And then the third thing that happens is Los Angeles catches on fire. So we were talking about this predictive programming years in advance. And this fire that has unfolded, again, it's... did you put up my screen? Hold on. Did you put did you share my screen, CT?
I'm sharing it now.
Oh, can you put that back here? Let me just jump to that. Since you guys are talking about directed energy weapons, I just want you to see this. The Maui fire began August 8th, 2023. This fire in LA began January 7th, exactly 74 weeks later. And it's also 74 months since the Paradise and LA fires in November 8th, 2018. Again, they said it's hurricane force winds in LA that caused the fires, just like it was the winds of Dora that caused the Maui fires. The qualifying wind speed for a hurricane is 74 miles per hour. And again, you bring in the Gematria piece. Look how when you run the alphabetic order forward, weapon is 74, lasers is 74, directed energy weapons include lasers, energy is 74. When you run them in reverse, they're all 88. Again, the Maui fire began on 88. This fire begins exactly 74 weeks later. And again, 74 months from the last devastating fires that they said were the worst in California state history at the time. And you might have also seen that they had to report that the mayor was 7,400 miles away. That's how the New York Post reported it, that she was 7,400 miles from the city. And I know I've been on here, CT, educating about
Zach,
this number.
how come you ain't say this earlier, nigga? How come?
Hold on, let him finish real quick. I'm actually interested in this because it does look like Zach did. Okay, go ahead, Zach. Hey, Tough Guy, let him finish real quick. Go ahead, Tough Guy.
Yeah, he's coming on just talking nonsense. I've been talking about how this weather
Shut your
warfare.
ass up, nigga. You don't know me.
Tough Guy. Hey, Tough Guy. Let him finish. I want to hear this real quick.
Yeah, again, these same recurring patterns in acts of destruction over and over, and I've been educating you about this. The World Trade Centers were on the 74th meridian. When they were destroyed, turning to dust as they crumbled to the ground, what was the tribute in light? It was made out of 88 purple lights. If you guys want to look that up, the tribute in light of March 11th, 2002, after 9/11, they used 88 beams of light to pay tribute to the towers. These same numbers over and over and over. And again, I just don't understand. CT, you're also saying, did the Jesuits do it? Have you watched any of the videos I put out in recent days?
I have not. No, I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't.
So,
CT, why would you not refer to Hanlon's razor? Don't blame malice for anything for stupidity.
Hold on, let's hear Zach out this time because he is in the title. Let's hear him out real quick.
Okay, so you probably heard that Joe Rogan seemingly forecasted this last year. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't, but I'm assuming you're gonna talk about with him and Mel Brooks, whatever his name is.
Hold on,
Okay,
I want to put something up on the screen so you guys can
Go
see
ahead.
this real quick. Let me see if it's going to stay up there. All right. So Joe Rogan, he forecast this fire on the 201st day of the year, the same day that Hollywood put out Twisters. You know, wind, storms, tornadoes. There are a lot.
What does Twister have to do with Joe Rogan? Is he a twister or something? What are you talking about?
I'm answering. Can we get the Catholic kid off here?
Yeah, Pierce. Hey, let him. Pierce. Let him just finish real quick, Pierce. Yeah,
well, just give me time to handle him afterwards. That's all.
You don't handle anything. But anyhow,
you handle balls.
201st day of the year, this movie came out. I've been teaching you about the Jesuits and the history of weather warfare. The first act of admitted weather warfare was on the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th, 1952. Anyhow, 201 is a recurring number in strange weather phenomenon. So Joe Rogan made this prediction on the 201st day of the year. You can see that his name, Joseph James Rogan, equates to 256. Just for the record, that's the 201st composite number, okay? So you can see how, if you're new here, Gematria, 4 base ciphers, alphabetic order with numerology, reverse alphabetic order, numerology. Look at the overlap with weather control and the Jesuit order. Go back and look at when Lyndon Johnson said at Jesuit Holy Cross, who controls the weather controls the world. He said it 201 days after JFK was assassinated. The same JFK who gave a weather control speech at the United Nations September 25th, 1961. And really, this is something to think about. JFK explained to the United Nations in September 25th, 1961 that they had the technology to ensure that there'd be no drought and no famine in the future because they know how to make rainfall happen. Right now, they're telling you that Los Angeles burned up because it was so dry. Why didn't we use the technology from the 60s to bring some rainfall to Southern California so it didn't have to be so dry to set up this fire? Everyone should be asking themselves that question, and you can go back and listen to JFK's weather control speech. By the way, Public Enemy put out the album What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down on September 25th, the anniversary of that speech, and there's been a lot of strange weather phenomenon since then that's knocked out grids, including what we called for Valentine's Day following that album, where the grid was out in Portland, Houston, and Atlanta because of the massive freeze and windstorms that happened then. Anyhow, I want to scroll down to this too. There's a lot here. I'm just going to skip over some of this. I want you to see this about Los Angeles, California, and the 4 base ciphers. So Joe Rogan's prediction about LA burning up when the wind becomes just right was on the 19th day of the 7th month. Los Angeles, California is 197 with the alphabetic order. If you apply numerology, it's 89. LA just caught on fire January 7th, 89 days after Gavin Newsom's birthday, the Jesuit governor of California, who they've synced up a lot of rituals with. This is the latest. Los Angeles, California, 343 when you run it in reverse. When Joe Rogan made his prediction on July 19th, that was 343 days after his last birthday. Los Angeles, California, also 118. And again, LA is the 118 city. Its establishment date is September 4th, the day leaving 118 days left in the year. It's on the 118th meridian. It burned up on November 8th in 2018, the same day that Paradise, California burned up. Joe Rogan's birthday is also the 11th of August, which can be written 11/8, and that is the anniversary of the HARP patent date being created. That military technology that's used for weather research, but also said to have the power to alter.
That's not what the technology is, brother. It's
Hold on, let him finish. Let him finish. Go ahead.
Here, again, the HARP patent date is the same. It's August 11th, which is Joe Rogan's birthday. Again, when Rogan did the podcast, he was wearing the Los Angeles Fire Department t-shirt. Los Angeles Fire Department just happens to equal 263. The 56 prime, the fire just happened to begin 56 days after the Superior General's birthday. Big number with the Jesuits, Society of Jesus 56, climate change. And ask yourself, why did it go from global warming to climate change in recent years? There's a reason. Natural disaster 56. We're going to talk about Lana Del Rey real quick, too, because Lana Del Rey put out a song that seemed to have predictive programming for this, and the fire began on the 201st day of her age, and she's Jesuit educated. She went to Fordham, just like Trump. Of course, Gavin Newsom, the Jesuit governor, also Mr. 56. Again, he made this prediction the day of the Twisters movie when we had all this strange tornado phenomenon all throughout the nation after that movie was released last year. Places that had never seen tornadoes got devastated with tornadoes, including Buffalo, not too far from where you are, CT. Again, these are the same recurring patterns and numbers I've been teaching you about for a long time. And just to show you something about HARP, which patent date is August 11th, 1987. August 11th is the 223rd day of the year. Natural Disaster 223. HARP stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, was 223, so how fitting that its patent date is the 223rd day of the year. That was a date with 44 numerology, like HARP, the acronym is 44, like military, like earthquake. High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program also equates to 457. There's something known as satanic gematria, where earthquake's also 457. I only bring up that part because 457 is the 80... Oh, shit. Hold on, I realized it put me on a different slide, so you can't see what I'm looking at right now. Hold on, let me fix that. Here, patent date for HARP, August 11th, Joe Rogan's birthday. Again, the 223rd day of the year. All these things I was just telling you about that are 223, the name of the HARP thing. But this 457 is interesting because that is the 88th prime number, and what we were just saying about how this is synced up with what happened in Maui on 8/8, and then you want the Catholic kid who doesn't know nothing about nothing to come in and make claims that he can't back up. Again, look into the recurring patterns that I've been educating about for over a decade. Nobody should be making fun of this.
You understand 44 is not a prime number, right?
I didn't say 44 was a prime number. Work on your listening. 457 is.
No, sir, you said 44 the prime number.
No, I said 457 is the 88th prime number. You're not listening.
No, sir, you said 44 was the prime number.
No,
the prime number. It's not.
Enough with the Catholic kid.
Can you explain to me why you don't count the spaces? Because in actual gematria, the Jewish gematria, they count the spaces between the words.
So what's a space worth what's a space worth in Hebrew?
Now that it's my turn, why don't you bring up the link that I posted?
They don't count the spaces. The spaces are no value.
No. CT, we can bring up. No, not that. CT, if we could bring up the rational wiki that I posted in the back, I would like to go through that document with you real quick, one by one, so we can finish this nonsense. Thank you.
You can bring up the rational wiki. That's a hit piece, and it's totally bullshit. Hey, by the way, Catholic kid. By the way, Catholic kid, another future just landed. Another future just landed.
I know you're scared of who you are to be released. I know.
No, I'm not scared of that. I've addressed that article.
Real quick. Hey, Zach. I blacked out today, and I blacked out on one of your followers. Zach, I really believe that, again, and I've told you this before, I think you're very, very high IQ. But the tragedy of what you are doing is you are really recruiting really stupid people, and particularly black men. There's a black dude that follows you who called in here, and I don't know if you heard me going off. And I really believe you are. I'm gonna be honest with you. I believe Gematria is bullshit, and you're a snake oil salesman. From my perspective.
So what is bullshit about what I just showed you?
No, but just hear me out for a minute. Now that is it. I'm not gonna lie. That is. Well, I always told you this gematria is it's still interesting as hell. But you had a black call in here, Zach, and this black, he's one of the lower caste amongst the blacks, like the mop heads, pretty like incoherent. That he's not really high IQ. And he called in pretty much attacking me for you. And I really believe that you've created a cult, and a dangerous cult at that. I'm just to be honest with you, man. And I could be wrong. It's like nobody understands this shit in this community up here. Nobody understands it. We just look at it like it's comedy. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Do you think it's funny that the LA has been ignited and burnt down?
I think it's very interesting what you showed. Trust me, I do. And I'm telling you, there's other times where I thought you were interesting, but Zach, your community is recruiting really low IQ.
You can take my screen. You can take my screen down, and so you can be on the screen too, CT.
No, I'm just.
We want to see you. We want to see you as these words come out of your mouth.
I'm on the screen right now. What are you talking about?
You are? Why can I not see you?
I'm on the screen right now. I don't know what you're talking about.
I guess. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong end. That's my bad. Go ahead.
So let me just finish this real quick. Zach, I actually am trying to, believe it or not, Zach, I actually do care about the black community. And I actually really care about fixing the black community. What your community is doing is you're confusing a lot of these blacks who are already stupid and dumb. A lot of these blacks have low IQs, and a lot of these blacks that follow you, it's more of a white worship than because you say trigger words, right? You know, and you do a good job at it. You say trigger words, and you use trigger examples, right? And you do a good job at it. You know, you talk about Malcolm X, MLK, a lot of things that, and I don't know whether you've perfected this, and if you have, you've done a good job at it. And so a lot of these blacks have been brainwashed by the school systems into believing that they are oppressed, et cetera. So you had a black that called in today, and he was really mad at me. And he called me a lame. Now, Zach, I actually grew up around blacks. I've always had a problem with that word being thrown out, or corny, or this, that, and the other. Because my whole argument is, well, if not being corny or not being a lame is better, why hasn't that beat racism, white supremacy? And what I'm saying is that here goes a man who's checking me for you, a white guy. You don't give a fuck about black people. Zach, let's just be honest about it. You don't give a fuck about blacks. You ain't even got to say anything about it. This is what I believe. You don't give a fuck about black people, Zach, to be completely honest with you, man. Now, what you do care about is people supporting you, which obviously, right? You know, of course. But Zach, when I have a black man who is calling me a lame and truly not understanding the game being played on him, I have a problem with that. And again, I'm not really faulting you, right? Because a lot of blacks have low IQs.
CT, hold on. As you do this,
I'm not done.
But I want you to provide support for anything you're saying.
Zach, my support is this, Zach. You have a black man that called into the show who looks like a goddamn convicted felon with a fucking mop head.
Why do you say that?
Because Zach, I'm black, bro. Zach, I am black. I have been around blacks all my life. I am telling you that there is an underbelly in the black culture. There's a segment of the black population that is really stupid and really dumb. They don't understand how the world really works. They look a certain way. They sag their pants. They have mop heads.
Is that worse than wearing a mega hat? Is that worse than a mega hat?
Zach, me wearing this, Zach, no black man wearing a mega hat is selling drugs, open air selling drugs, committing armed robbery. No black man wearing a fucking MAGA hat, sir, is leaving women in these cities with no father in the home. Zach, dreadhead niggers are on most police lineups.
Are you being paid to do this? What,
sir? Zach, I'm not arguing with you, Zach.
I stick up for Black America. You talk down about it, and I don't do it for any other reason other than it's right.
Zach, let me host the show, bro. When you're okay, Zach.
Well, you're talking a bunch of BS.
Zach.
Zach, stop being a white savior.
Stop. Zach, you don't stick up for black people. You actually make it worse for black people. You're confusing them with this gematria shit. Zach, it's bullshit. But Zach, you're already confusing a population of people who have fucking low IQs, bro. You are already confusing a bunch of people, sir, who don't understand how the world works. This is bullshit. At least over here, I say, hey, man, black man, get into major industry. Understand how the world really works. You're giving them these cartoon fantasy numbers. Yes, are there some coincidences? Sure, Zach, sure. Well, why the fuck not? But Zach, you have a black man. Instead of checking you, he's checking me. A black man.
Hold on, CT. Let me.
You don't care about these blacks, Zach. You don't, bro. You don't.
Let me respond. Let me respond.
No, I'm not done, Zach. I'm not done.
Go ahead then. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Zach, you don't care about these blacks. You have no vested interest in the black communities. You have Zach. Listen, Zach. I've grown up around blacks. Bro. I'm telling you, what you are doing, you are causing more damage. Now, do I want you to stop? You ain't got to stop. You're a grown-ass man, dude. But I'm just telling you from one content creator to another one, bro, you are causing more problems for a black community because you have a lot of blacks who willingly follow you. And black people are more susceptible to following whites and Arabs. What's the proof? Look at ask your average black. Hey, black, are you a follower of the Orisha and a black religion, or are you a follower of Christianity or Arab? They'll tell you they're a follower of white people's religions. Zach, ask the average black, where do they work at? Ask the average black, Zach, about their current condition, and they will always refer to whites. Zach, they only follow you, Zach, because you have a white savior complex, and you say nice things about the black community, Zach. You don't tell them the truth, Zach. You don't tell them to cut that fucking mop head off. You don't tell them to speak proper fucking English, Zach. Zach, I get it, bro. You're a good guy, probably, man. You're a good guy. But Zach, I am actually helping black people. You are not, sir. You're not. You're not, man. You're actually, to me, you're like a Jim Jones. You just haven't killed him yet. And I'm just gonna be honest with you, bro. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, man. You are like a Jim Jones. These stupid blacks will drink poison because you told them to do it, because you're telling them about this gematria bullshit. They will do it. They did it in Guyana, bro. Jim Jones had 1,000 dumbass blacks drinking poison Kool-Aid.
Say what again?
I ain't type 111. And Zach knows what I'm talking about, guys. Let's be honest about it. This is disgusting. And I had to go off today, man. I don't like going off on blacks, man, to be honest with you. But I go off because I actually love blacks, bro. And you don't, Zach. You can't, and nobody expects you to. You don't have to love blacks. But stop pretending, Zach. You don't care about no black people, bro. You never talk about Zach. You never talk about Sylvester James Gates. Do you know who that is, Zach? Without looking up on Google,
I don't know who that is.
He's one of the preeminent molecular physicists, or not molecular, but he's one of the preeminent quantum physicists in America. He's a black man. You never talk about the cotillions. You never talk about anything good about what blacks are doing. It's always, well, this number represents this, and George Floyd. It's always about some dumb nigger, Zach, like George Floyd. You talk about stupid, inferior blacks, Zach, and I get it, man. I get it, man, but a lot of us are getting tired of it, man. And we're getting tired of it because we see a lot of these blacks getting played, and they don't even understand that they are getting played. That's the tragedy of it. These blacks are so dumb. That black boy that called in today, he doesn't even understand he's getting played by you. And not to say that you are doing it deliberately, bro, but he's getting played because he doesn't have high cognitive functioning skills, bro. I could tell just by talking to him. And a lot of black men are like that. And it's tragic that you sit up here with this white complex, just like that white bitch and that nurse who was breaking the bones of them babies, because she probably thought that, well, it's better that it's better not do this to them so they won't live a life of hardship. Bro, I see this all the time with a lot of you white saviors, man. And it's sickening. It's disgusting, bro. It's sickening, and you know what you are doing, man. And it's trifling, to be honest with you. And again, man,
you're talking in circles. You're talking in circles, CT.
I'm gonna land the plane out. I'm talking in riddles, and you talking bullshit numbers. Zach, you're doing more harm to the black community, to be honest with you, man. And blacks like myself are the only ones who are trying to fix the black community. You can't fix the black community. You're not black. Just like I can't fix the white community. And truth be told, I don't give a fuck about certain. I don't give a fuck about degenerate whites. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't give a fuck. I just don't. I don't care. I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. Like when I'm black, I'm blacking out today, man, because what I see today is tragic, bro. It's tragic. Go ahead. You got the floor. I'm done talking. I'm about to go on mute.
Again, I'm going to remind people that I used to be the only white kid in the neighborhood, so I'm not a stranger to black people. And you can nod your head all you want, but it's true. Again, everything you just said was just opinion. You didn't have any fact to back up anything. And CT, we had this conversation a few weeks ago. You said your greatest moment as a teacher was calling your students monkeys.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
You know why? You know why? Because it got their dumbass black asses in line. I told them you're fucking acting like a bunch of fucking wild monkeys. And the Jews, and I said it flat out because I live where I live at is a big Jewish population. I said the Jewish kids, they're curb stomping you in every facet of life right now. Flat the fuck out. And the little dumbass niggas, you know what happened? They said, I'm gonna be better than you, Mr. Chaotic. I'm gonna come to school and drive a Lamborghini. And I said, that's the whole point, you dumb black. Zach, you don't care about blacks, bro, and nobody wants you to. That's the whole thing. It's not for you, bro. It's just not. And I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not for you to care about blacks.
Okay, CT.
Zach, we are tired of your kind, man. To be honest with you, man, that white savior concept, man, I hate that shit, bro.
Nobody's pretending to be white savior. That's never been my argument.
You don't have to pretend. That's what you're doing. That's exactly
my argument is about more than race. It's about how there are forces in this world trying to divide people every way they can. Race, religion, sexuality.
It's you, Zach.
No, I try to bring a message of unity through knowledge. Again, CT.
Shut up, Zach. Shut the bullshit.
Let Zach talk.
CT. I understand that calling people names can light a fire under their ass. I was raised in that kind of environment. That's the way my own family was. So I get that, but that's not the only way to motivate people. And I used to teach in South Seattle, predominantly black area, and I showed them another way. I showed them like, here's what happens if you do not invest your time and energy into bettering yourself. And here's what happens if you put in the time, and here's what your life looks like. You either end up working at McDonald's or you end up working at Boeing. You end up either being broke and can't afford to pay the bills, or you end up making a great salary and retiring at a young age and living a better life. And you can do that at a relatively young age. I laid these kind of things out, and I got them to invest in the terminology of understanding what person one, the lazy person, was versus person two, the person who achieved even if they thought school was boring. To me, that's a better method because you're not just calling the names to provoke them and get them to do better. I get that. There's a place for that. But also showing people why they should work hard towards something, giving them a reason. That's another component to being successful. Understanding the reason for why you should apply yourself, even if you don't like the school system. I get it, man. I heard the Dead Prez album and day schools. I get all this. But again, I don't come on here with white savior complex. CT, something you don't know about my life is, again, my sister, we were the only white kids in the neighborhood. My sister dated 2 black men as I was growing up. So like my older brothers, my sister's almost 12 years older than me. I grew up around older black men. The man she was with for over 10 years, I watched him in his senior year of high school get arrested and framed with a gun, something he didn't do, and it blew up his athletic opportunity and his scholarship. A false arrest and having a weapon planted on him.
Yeah,
he ended up.
All you're doing is all you're doing is no. Let him finish because he did respect me when I was. Let him finish the period. Then you.
All right, my bad.
No, we live in a world like this, that there is racism in the world. There are things like this that happen, and people's lives are destroyed wrongfully so. I grew up with the older influence of my sister, and she would always read to me. She'd say, Zach, look how disproportionate it is in this country, how many people of darker complexion end up in a prison cell. I grew up with the idea that, someday I'm going to be, when I was a kid, I thought I'd grow up and be a lawyer and be a public defender. These are the kind of things I wanted to do. I want to come back and help people from my community. You can think it's funny all you want, but CT, you just sat here and went in and talked in circles and made a lot of assumptions and accusations that aren't based in any truth at all. Again, you want to know why some black people are rocking with me and not with you. I've been here showing how the media lies to us every day. Snap, what just happened? I think he kicked me out of the studio. I think he kicked me out. I think he kicked me out of the studio. Whatever, man. That's enough of that. It's just, but you see that he's making fun of the work that we do. His title is false. I did point out how this could happen in LA in 2025 as it was foretold in the movie. But then we get on there and he starts making all about race. That's his whole channel is, race baiting channel. It's a joke, man. So, yeah, he did just kick me out. That was weak. So, anyway, he's also a liar because he agreed to not do any more streams like this weeks ago, and he's kept doing it, and finally he put my full name in the title, and so I'm like, all right, you know what, this is an important topic, and he just says the same thing, everything. He's like, Gematria is bullshit. It's like, how could you look at what I just showed you? You're talking, he was even theorizing that it could be directed energy weapons. You show him this? I mean, these aren't real people. And again, you just got to wonder, like, who are the people that fund these YouTubers? They have relatively small channels, but they're well-funded. Meanwhile, you do groundbreaking knowledge that should be changing the world, and there's very little support for it. All right, here, let's read the super chats, then we got to wrap this thing up. Space Invader says, interesting that 99 is linked with the U.S. of America and Jupiter. Again, Jupiter equals 99, like the United States of America, which was named on 99. It says Independence Day is July, is in the month of Cancer, where Jupiter is exalted. Interesting. Yeah, Jupiter. Jupiter is Zeus. Zeus, Jesus. Remember Thursday, the day of the week named after Jupiter, which is also Thor. It's the day of the week that has the same gematria as Catholic. That was another reason we liked Notre Dame to win last night. The Catholic school playing on a Thursday. Yeah, probably need to do more research on the. I remember when the Juno probe landed on Jupiter on the 4th of July, and it was the first time the 4th of July had 47 date numerology in 99 years. So yeah, I'm thinking about what you wrote, just in light of something we covered years ago. Do you remember how Google did their probe that day? All right. Space Invader said Thanksgiving's on Thursday. Jupiter's day during its ruling month is Sagittarius. Are you aware Jupiter's at detriment in Gemini, where it was on 9/11? No, I wasn't. There's a lot more to learn about the astrology piece, and the astrology piece definitely does fit in. So, okay. Appreciate that, Space Invader. Pretty Kitty said, thank you, Zach, for your incredible work. After you confirmed the Jesuits behind this attack in Eaton Canyon, I evacuated, got the heck out of Dodge. I'm sorry that you had to go through that, Pretty Kitty. I hope your property is okay. Nathan pointed out the 3.7 quake today in San Francisco, while Los Angeles is burning. The 37th city. San Francisco's quaking. Interesting. Anita Bryant, a woman born on the 84th day of the year, March 25th, dead at age 84. And she died 266 days or 38 weeks after her birthday. Yeah, we've seen that one a lot. The Jesuit Order, 84. Jesuit, 84. Jesus Hominum Salvator, 266. Pope Francis, the 266th Pope, born on a date with 84 numerology, December 17th, 1936. 12 plus 17 plus 19 plus 36. The founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, died 84 days from his own birthday. Of course, death in 38. It's funny. I recognize her name, but I can't place her. I'm sure if I see her face. Anita Bryant. Singer and anti-gay rights crusader, dies at age 84. You got televangelists blaming the fires on LGBTQT. You got the LGBTQT fire chief with the 201 name. Oh, it's in the news, but she actually died the day before Saturnalia. It took a while to get that one out there. Okay. Yeah, I have to look more into that. All right, appreciate it, King Richard. And King Richard said, yeah, that's why I said he's like the real life Clayton Bigsby. It's crazy though. See, that's what's crazy is he does these live streams, right? He's never had his channel deleted, doesn't seemingly get any of his videos taken down. YouTube's taken down so many videos, so many channels of mine. The things he said right there were 1,000 times more offensive than anything that's ever come out of my mouth. That's why YouTube is such a joke. And it's just like the gas station attendant who was in his chat. He went on a tirade calling Jay the N-word 1,000,000 times. Jay played like a 30-second clip and responded, and Jay got suspended for a week. The gas station attendant's video calling him the N-word is still up on his channel. And I'll remind you guys, that gas station attendant, he did meet up with me in California outside the YouTube headquarters. That's why I feel like some of these people are really employees of this platform. So. Yeah, but I mean, again, that he represents like everybody who's ever made an attack video of me. They make fun of the work, and then they don't have anything to say. It's like, dude, we're talking about the weather warfare, and then again, you got to turn it into some race thing. You're mad because somebody came on who was black, who supported my work, and not you. I mean, I wonder why. Again, just all these false accusations. You don't care, dude. I care about all people, despite my rants. Again, and like I said, it doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what your skin color is. It doesn't matter what religion you're a part of, what sexuality you are. We're all under, the scope of this cabal. And there is the rapper Andre 3000 even has those lyrics. The Pope and his folks have us under a scope. Yeah, some lyrics are truer than others, so. All right, anyway, this stream went longer than intended, as per usual. Thank you, Mr. 201. You know what? I think it was Mr. 201, because I had his stream going on in the background. I think this is the same gentleman who actually went on CT's show that he was so mad about. I'm going to drop the link in case the same gentleman who just gave the super chat is the same person who went on there that CT was mad about. And let's just hear Mr. 201 out in his own words if he wants to hop on. While he's hopping on, let me switch around my audio settings too real quick. I might go mute for a second, but I'll come back. Test. I think we're good. Well, I dropped the link from Mr. 201. We got Mr. 510. What's up, 510?
What up, Zach? Hey,
Well, we had him for a second, but then he dropped out. I don't know what happened there, 510. You dropped out. You can come back. What's up, Rich?
Yeah, what's up, man? Is it echoing?
Hold on. It looks like I got the echo cancellation.
Should it be? All right, testing. Are we good?
It should be on my end. The echo cancellation thing is checked.
Okay, yeah. We're good. No, we're good. On my end, it's pretty good. I can hear it clear. We're good. But no, I just wanted to say, man, yeah, don't waste your time with people like that, man. That's why I stopped going on his panel, because like you saw what he was telling me. He was trying to critique me for my age and say that, oh, I'm just young and I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm only 22. But yeah, I wouldn't even go on there no more. That dude's just a waste of time. And he's a liar. Then he said he was gonna stop putting gematria in the title of his videos, and then he starts doing it again, literally like a day or two after. Like that dude, I wouldn't even waste my time with that guy, man. It's like that dude's a.
I don't think there's any point going back on there. Today was the final straw, but we got Mr. 201, who I do believe is who was talking to CT. What's up, Mr. 201?
Nothing, man. I ain't subscribed to him or nothing like that. But when I was about to watch your stream, his popped up and it had your name in the title. And I remember you saying like he be putting you in a thumbnail, he be putting you in a title. Like he said you obsessed with him, and then you was like, bro, I don't do none of that stuff to you. So like, how I'm obsessed with you? It looked like you obsessed with me. So I went on it today. I'm like, bro, why do you keep on doing that? If you don't agree with the work, if you feel like he not saying nothing knowledgeable, bro, why do you keep tuning into it? You feel me? I was like, you lame. Stop doing that. And his whole stream after that, mad. Oh, he think I'm a lame. He don't know how the world work. I get so tired of hearing that. Man, I had him so fucking mad. But like, shit, he called me a mophead because of my dreads, but bro, your words don't bother me, bro. You don't know me from a can of paint, so. But that when I call him lame, that really bothered him. You niggers this, you niggers that. I'm like, damn, bro, really mad. But yeah, man, it was me. But I don't watch his stream or nothing like
What
that. It was just today.
what do you think? Do you think that he's sincere in the things he's saying, or do you think he's being paid to get on and do streams like this?
Definitely getting paid.
That's what I think too. I don't think he means a word he's saying.
No, because he'd say, yeah, bro. He'd tell other black dudes that's sitting up there with him, like, yeah, bro, I got all love for you, but it's just y'all black people, bro. You black yourself. So what do you consider yourself as, bro?
Yeah, I mean, it's really bizarre. And I regret that I ever came across that channel. It popped up in my feed one day. They were having a political conversation. I saw he was letting people hop on. So I went on there and shared my information. And he had a lot of questions. But then I realized shortly after, I was like, wait, this is some kind of race baiting channel. So I didn't recognize that right away, but it became pretty clear by day 2. So
Yeah. He lying to me. Like I said what I had to say. He wanted me to come back on there so bad, but you showing your true colors right now. But I don't know you from a can of paint, and me calling you lame had you that hot, had you that mad for like he was talking about that for like an hour, bro. I promise you. Like, man, these niggas, they just don't know. I swear, man. Yeah, you really lame, bro. You really lame. But yeah, I like I said, I don't believe you're a cult leader or nothing like that. Like you do. I follow you on my own free will. I keep up with what you're saying. You feel me? If people actually looked into the validation instead of trying to argue with you off little comments like, oh well, do you know they include spaces in the words? Like, man, bro, like, did you read a book or you just like trying to say that just because? Like, come on now, bro. That's what I'll be getting at. Like, y'all throw itty bitty stuff out there for people to catch on to, but really put the knowledge on the flow. Put your research on the flow. You talking all this, talking about another dude got on somebody else's brand, bro. You got on the Make America Great Again hat. Like, who is you, man?
an
That's
actual
what,
cult. That's an actual cult.
for real, for real. Like, I done heard you talk about the satanic church that being the highest degree of the satanic church and stuff like, bro. I know all that, bro. So, and I done actually went on the internet and seen like Anton LaVey made that the highest degree. Like, you're not lying. So if people would just do that instead of talking out their ass, then they actually know something. But you got niggas like him that's just retarded, bro. Like, and he think he's so smart. He really think he's smart, but hey, he got it, bro.
Well, I think he is smarter than he leads on, and I think he's just another person doing something he'd probably rather not do because he's getting paid to do it. It's pretty shameful, though. I'd say what he does is pretty shameful and evil.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it definitely is. He be talking crazy. I hope don't nobody do nothing to him if I ever see him out. But shoot, I don't
He
got no
wouldn't do
brother.
any of that on purpose. He said he's somewhere between 5'2" and 5'6", so he's a smaller guy. There's no way he would
Mhm.
ever talk like that to any average man. So
And he stay in Cleveland. He said the niggas like me, if he see us in the mall or anything, he stay away from him. I don't know why, but I guess the dreads just scare him that much.
yeah,
That's always
he's something
crazy.
else, man. He's the real life Clayton Bigsby. That's what I keep saying. So
Yeah, but
Hey,
yeah,
Zach,
it was me though.
I just wanted to interject real fast, guys. My bad, 201. But I just wanted to
But
throw in a little thing. It's this new puppet, I guess. They're kind of promoting this guy named Ian Carroll. I just wanted you to like look into him. He looked like a damn near CIA agent, but apparently he just like ratioed Elon. He like he called it a Israel piled Elon Musk because like Elon pretty much asked like, what am I missing about what's wrong with Israel? And this dude just pretty much gave like heck of facts and like what happened with the JFK assassination and stuff like that. I just kind of wanted to see if you like seen him on your feed at all. Like
what's it? E. Carroll?
Ian,
Ian
IAN,
Carroll.
yeah, Ian Carroll. He looks like a CIA agent, honestly, especially when he puts on them shades. But yeah, he's on X. Honestly, if you want to look him on X more, it'll be a more recent post. But he just goes on a lot. A lot of fact check. He puts his sources down and everything, and then he just pretty much ratioed Elon with 100K likes, and then I don't know. He looks kind of but he does a lot of research. He's been exposing a lot on X, so that's what I just want to know if you could like link up probably, or if you can see if you can go on his show and probably put a lot of knowledge out there, or have him come on your show. But that's all I wanted to throw in there. There he goes. Yeah, Ian Carroll goes on Fresh and Fit. Yeah.
I'll look into it. I appreciate it, 510. Thank you.
All right, y'all.
have you ever tried to go on one of them shows, Fresh and Fit?
Honestly, I stopped reaching out to people a long time ago because I never get any correspondence back. I feel like I'm the black sheep that nobody wants to talk to. So
Yeah, I get
I
that.
heard Fresh and Fit Masonic too. I don't know if that's true or not, but
Well, I know
I
they
heard
brought
that.
on my arch nemesis, Gary the Numbers Goon, who didn't make himself
Yeah,
look very good this week. And I think, how are you going to
yeah.
bring him on
They
over
got
me?
like
Come
a
on, man.
program together too. I think
Mm.
I seen
You
that somewhere.
know, Gerald Ford or Mason, right?
Yep.
I'd have to look at that for sure. A lot of those guys up there are Masons, so it's
Yeah.
probable.
Only reason I say that
99%
because
of them are Masons.
I'm
Masons are
in
Jesuits.
I'm in truck driving school right now, and my instructor is a Freemason, and I was talking to him about your work and stuff like that, and he showed me his book, and when you scroll through the first couple of pages, it's pictures of Masons and Gerald Ford. It's a picture of Gerald Ford in the book. It's a book you get off Amazon called the Masons, I believe.
Okay.
That's funny you mentioned that. You know, I'm going through a court case right now, and my judge the past 2 times, you can look it up. His name is Douglas Rogers. He's Jesuit educated. He went to the University of San Francisco, and
Mm.
he got put in there as a judge to be a judge of the county. Man, he got put in there by Gavin Newsom, the Jesuit, 144 days before his birthday. I'm like,
Mm.
come on, man, that's not an accident. And
It's-
that
Oh,
court case actually was for my court case that when the feds came to my house 144 days after my birthday.
by the way, I just want to backtrack a second. For any young people out there looking for what to do with their life, if you don't mind driving, it's not a bad idea at all to get your CDL and
Yeah,
become a professional driver, because you'll probably have to work for a company for a few years and make a salary between like 50 and
you make
70,000, which isn't
you make
terrible
bank.
compared to what a lot of college people do. But if you can save up and get your own truck, you can instantly start making about 300 G's a year. I know several people doing that. And you can do it a lot faster, get a good salary going than a college education if you're smart with your money.
I'm actually planning on you bring up CDL. I'm actually planning to go get my CDL. I'm actually going to go to trade school for that. So
Do it, bro.
you
It's
mentioned
not.
that.
Do it, bro. It ain't hard. It's just
No, it's
anything
you
else.
make
You just got to
and
be
you make
consistent
bank
with
too.
it. For
You
real.
make bank too. Like you make
Hmm.
shit. You make
Somebody
a bunch of money.
somebody said the one thing to think twice about in the chat. It remains to be seen if it's going to happen. That's the one thing that could, and we'd all be doomed if this starts happening. But yeah, they do talk about getting the robot trucks out there so they don't have to pay drivers. I mean,
Well,
we're all
that,
going to be screwed if that kind of stuff
that's
starts
funny.
happening.
That's funny you mentioned that, Zach, because now they're starting to implement Tesla trucks instead of like regular trucks. They're starting to implement Tesla trucks. I know PepsiCo is starting to do that too. Tesla trucks.
Yeah, but it's a proven fact that those trucks can't go the range and work as hard as the trucks with the diesel, the
Yeah, exactly.
motors in them. So
Yep.
that's gonna be a long time from now. I'm not thinking
Yeah,
nothing about that.
yeah, exactly, because they got to fill those trucks up. So yeah, I still think it's a good career move. It could be 20 years from now that happens, but for the time being, you can still do well for yourself. And
Yep.
I like driving personally. Sometimes I think I should if I could rewind the clock, I might have done that. So
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about going to get my CDL because I actually went to school for an auto shop mechanic. So
And I don't want to be a truck driver forever, but I'm using it to fund my trade in life. You ever heard of Forex, Zach?
what's that?
forex
Uh,
trading.
yeah, the foreign
Yeah,
exchange market.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not up on that actually.
yeah, it's a currency type of thing. So instead of like the stock market where you got to have a big sum of money to get in it and actually trade with the foreign exchange market, you could get in there and really start with like $1,000 to $100 and trade currencies like the U.S. dollar against the euro or the yen and stuff like that. It's a real big market. It's $1 trillion market.
Okay, I should look more into that. Interesting.
Yeah, it's like it. That is more quicker than putting your money in a stock and waiting. You could do currencies, cryptos, futures, and options on the foreign exchange market.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to make money. If you got the knowledge, it helps. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
indeed. Gentlemen, I got to wrap this thing up. But if you guys got some closing remarks, I'm going to leave it to you. You can go first, Mr. 201.
Oh nope, I said everything I had to say. Shoot, love from Detroit, and shoot, keep doing your thing.
All right. Good luck with the driving career.
I
Thank you.
appreciate that. Yep.
All right. Take care. All right, Rich. Last word from you.
Nothing much, man. I just say stop. I just say I don't want to tell you what to do, but I mean I'd say stop going on that dude's panel, man, because
It's worthless. I mean, today was just another example that is just totally worthless.
Right.
I just keep hoping there's gonna be a breakthrough, but it just turned. It's like, dude, I just gave you a presentation. You're gonna turn the whole thing into a race and a whole bunch of assumptions. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, it's a waste of time, man. And you just pretty much you're just wasting your breath, man. I mean, you're putting out, decent, good information. I'm not
There
gonna say
might have been a
decent,
few
good
people in that
information.
stream though that heard it and thought, "Whoa, that's crazy." So we hope that was the reason that we went on there today and planted a few more seeds. But yeah, he is a waste of time, the host.
Facts, man. Facts. Yeah, he's a waste of time. Piece of work. He's a real piece of work, man. So, and that Imperious dude, I'm glad you went off on that dude too, man. That Imperious guy, he was pissing me off, man. Just kept cutting me off and shit. Like, yeah, man. I'm glad you went off on him, and yeah, man. It's a waste of time for real, man. That's all I wanted to say. That was my closing thoughts, man. But yeah, I just wanted to chime in on the Anita Bryant thing. When I think about Anita Bryant, I think about Kobe Bryant. He also died 266 days after his wife's birthday, or 38 weeks. So there might be something with that I'm not looking at. But yeah, that's all I had to say, Zach. Hey, appreciate it, man. Keep the good work, man. I'm gonna keep tuning in, man. Like I said, I'm making a point to keep calling in, man. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you for all the generosity. Make sure you're saving your money though. Make sure you're saving your
Yeah,
money.
I got money, man. I got money put away, man. In my savings. So yeah, I got plenty of money put away in my savings. So especially now, because I got to save it for my pops' funeral. So we trying to do that. So yeah, it's all good. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, Rich. Take care, man. You have a good day.
You too.
All right. Thank you to everyone with the like and the share. Thank you to everyone who subbed. Maybe apologies for even trying to talk to CT again. I mean, that's it. I'm not going back. He can keep making videos about me and all this. It's just, yeah, somebody's clearly putting him up to do what he does. There's no way the things that come out of his mouth he can be sincere about. But the thing that's frustrating is that's what it's been for the 11 years I've been here. If somebody's making a video about me, 9 out of 10 times, it's something like that. Just some nonsense, trying to put down what we're doing, saying it's stupid. No real. I hate when people say things and don't support. Like when he was talking about me and saying this, and this, it's like, okay, where's your proof that any of that's true? You're just throwing out your opinions and, But it's like humanity doesn't check that, though. I feel like humanity would rather just listen to somebody run their mouth if they find it halfway entertaining or funny. It's like that is more intriguing to people than somebody doing research and presenting information that's valuable. That's a 9 out of 10 thing I'd say as well. 9 out of 10 people don't value knowledge and information. They just want to be entertained. And, it's funny until your house burns up. I mean, and these are serious things that we're exposing, and that's why I get frustrated. Jim Bob, or Made by Jim Bob, or whatever his channel is, he was making fun of me on Monday, and he said, "You ever watch Zach, how serious he always is?" It's just like, well, I'm talking about something pretty serious, an evil agenda that needs to be stopped. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the manpower should be serious about stopping this evil that's in the world. They should be pissed off and fed up. I mean, what's the quote about? It's no sign of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society, or however that quote goes. Yeah, I mean, it's just there's so many layers of programming in society that you have to overcome to reach people. So I'm gonna leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Have a good rest of your day. Again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. And until next time.